oneself dishonor. Had to give it to him 98 style, you know what I mean?
Yo, I was about to say 98 changed my life, you know what I mean? 98 was a hell of a year. That's when wrestling really, man, what? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a No Power podcast. We talk about 98 because this is the 98th edition of your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. Joining me, as always, my two not so esteemed hosts, Swervy Lee,
That's fucking.
aka Two Sub Swerve, aka Swervy Atmos, aka Swollen Pal, FKA Young Portable. How you feeling?
Feeling hot, man. I'm feeling hot. Kevin Bacon out here.
Man, listen, that's a whole fact. Also in the building.
This is over. I'm taking a shower.
You feeling sticky, icky?
Man. Ooh, ooh.
Drew, do you know that one, bro?
No.
Oh, come on, man. I know you know that. Oh, my God. Of course, the man who doesn't know any music. No chill, Drew.
I know music. I just know, decent music.
You know Saturday by Ludacris. Ooh, ooh. You know that song. Okay.
This motherfucker.
My bad. Forgot to turn Do Not Disturb on.
Joined, of course, last but not least, No Chill Drew, a.k.a. EGB, a.k.a. While We Quarantine, he's the OG Don, a.k.a.
You know what's actually funny? I actually have a can, but because your dumbass couldn't get off Call of Duty and it's so fucking hot, I had to open it pregame.
Who the fuck is on Call of Duty, bro?
You motherfucker!
I don't.
No, I'm sorry. Titanfall. Oh, you're on Titanfall. You're one of the 15 people who play Titanfall still.
You got jokes, man.
How about after this, you play some Alien vs. Predator? You want to hop on the 360? We'll play some Alien vs. Predator.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Hey, man, those are cult classic games, man. Why are you dissing them?
I'm with it.
Let's see if the server is still active.
You're gonna play a little, I forgot the game I was about to say. Shit. I forgot what game I was gonna say.
The only man's eye rocker ones with zeros in the front.
You want to play a little bully?
Oh, but you gotta get the 360 version. I don't need no updates. Want to rock some GTA 3?
Hey, man. I was playing that the other day.
Looks like it was programmed on a fucking potato.
I'm with it. I can still run people over.
Hey, that was groundbreaking back in the day, man. Don't
it was, but so was the Model T.
Oh, Drew. Speaking of games, are you going to get the new system or what? What are we doing here?
I mean, when it comes out.
Day one?
No, fuck no.
All right, there.
I don't need to burn my fucking place down.
I'll make sure to clown your ass when you're not a day one purchaser.
I'll be sure to clown your ass when it burns your apartment to the ground. You know those things fucking are defective every time on day one. They're all defective.
I copped the Xbox last day one, and that was good money, dog. You know what I mean? That's all I know. We'll play WWE Battlegrounds together.
No, I do not plan on getting that game, actually.
You don't want to see John Cena get suplexed and then eaten by a alligator?
I think I'll pass. I think it's gonna be a hard pass.
I mean, real quick, what the fuck is the sell on that game?
Well, you know what it is? I think that with the last game, the only positive that they got from the last game is, well, you can play in like a graveyard, so They like that shit, so why don't we just make a game with that shit?
It's the we can't make simulations, so we better try some goofy stuff before we lose everybody completely.
I mean, a little bit late on that one, but
Well, apparently they have a forum up where they're getting suggestions from people on Reddit about what they want to see in the next game.
that's that's always bad. That's always a bad idea. That's how Snakes on a Plane came to be. It's just a bunch of people in a chat room going, what would be fun is if they did this. Oh, you know what they should do? They should have a guy hooking up and then a snake bite his dick. That would be funny. And they just took all those ideas and put them into a movie.
That's the wrong thing they should be doing. They should be asking, how can we fix the existing problems we have? Don't add anything new till you fix the old stuff.
Hey, man, bullet wound or Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You know how that goes. But speaking of bullet wounds, it felt like I got shot this week because I didn't watch anything. I didn't want to. It was a wrestling-free week. It was Memorial Day weekend. How was the holiday for everybody?
It was good. You know what? I just want to take time right now to wish Happy Memorial Day to everyone out there except for Sergeant Slaughter. Fuck you and your valor stealing.
Okay, why are we fucking Sergeant Slaughter?
Because this dude has made a living off of stealing valor. This dude went out there, even outside of... Okay, first off, Mac, you got to turn down your volume if you're using a mic. I'm just getting a terrible echo.
I'm sorry.
You're the only one not echoing.
All right, Drew.
So Sergeant Slaughter goes out here for years. I was a Vietnam vet, and now I'm a drill sergeant. And even after he retired, he went on with this gimmick of being a Vietnam vet to the point where he was actually getting medals for his service. A couple years ago, man, I never stepped foot in Vietnam. I was never even in the army. It was just a wrestling gimmick. This dude was stealing valor. He couldn't have just sat there and said, I don't need those medals. I wasn't actually in Vietnam. No, he fucking went with it.
Don't you have to prove something to get those, or you could just say it and it happens?
Not. I mean, I guess not. I guess they don't ask. I guess they just assume, well, you're the poster boy for G.I. Joe, so obviously you must have been.
Well, a better question is, how long is the arm of Vince McMahon? Because he was on a phone call somewhere talking to somebody, getting Sergeant one of these valors.
I mean, he kept Jimmy Snook out of jail, so it's got to be pretty long.
Pause.
This fucker.
All right, Drew. You know what time it is. We always kick off the show with some AEW.
You know what? Before we kick off with Dynamite, I want to go into a couple other things before we go into actual wrestling.
Okay.
First and foremost, we didn't get a chance to do it last week because we weren't here.
Yes.
A rest in peace to Shad Gaspard and a rest in peace to Hannah Kimura. Two wrestlers passed away over the past 2 weeks. Obviously, most people listening who are WWE fans know Shad Gaspard from his time with Crime Time. He was wrestling on the indies up until he passed away. Terrible news that he had passed away. Drowning victim. Did you happen to see the GoFundMe that they set up for his kids' college fund?
Yeah, a lot of wrestlers retweet that on Twitter.
Did you see the mystery GoFundMe patron? That's everyone is assuming is John Cena.
No.
You see how much he donated?
CTC. Yeah, I saw it.
$40,000. So, a lot of people like to shit on John Cena, and a lot of people like to hate on John Cena. But you got to admit, first day that they open up that fucking GoFundMe to put in $40,000, that's something.
I'm at the stage of life where I'll say this about certain people, and John Cena is now going to be a part of one of those certain people, and that is, if you hate John Cena, you hate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason to hate him unless like he's personally done something shitty to you. But like the only stories I hear bad about him are people who have very clear sour grapes. Everyone else has nothing but good things to say about the guy.
Yeah.
Even Nikki Bella?
Even Nikki Bella has good things to say about
Oh, I don't think anybody hates John Cena, the person, the man. I
him.
think they just hate the rest.
There's a couple people from like the Nexus and shit who feel like, you know, their career didn't go as far as it could have because of John Cena. But it's like, you know, he's not booking the shows. You know, I mean, Bray Wyatt was in the Nexus. He's doing okay. So maybe it's you.
Yeah,
But
maybe it is.
The bigger folks do influence the shows, though. You're not gonna just wash that under the table. They do influence the shows.
They influence the shows, but at the same time, if you wash out, it's not because John Cena made you wash out.
Well, there was a story. I forgot what I was watching, but they were saying at OVW that John was the next guy. Like everybody knew it, everybody saw it. So you know, I mean, he put the work in. That you got to give him credit for. You know.
This is a guy who had the same neck surgery that Austin had and showed up to Raw that day. No selling it. They're like, dude, what are you doing here? Well, I'm here to work. You just had neck surgery. So? Like, he didn't wrestle. Dude showed up to TV in a fucking neck brace. No selling it.
Where do you put John Cena on the all-time list?
Top 5. I'm not going to put him at number 1, obviously, but I mean, you got to put him top 5. You got to. At least WWE top 5. So WWE top 5. We're not talking about just all pro wrestling. WWE top 5. You don't put him as number 5 in at least the top 5.
He's not even in the top 10.
Why?
What are we just talking about? How much money he has? If we talking about that, then yeah, you can put him in the top 5.
No, I'm talking about, you know, the drawing power, the, you know,
okay, that's money.
The influence, the, you know, the personality, all that combined. You don't think that's top 5? You're probably gonna say some dumb shit like fucking Neville is in the top 5.
You won't get
everything you said besides personality has to do with money.
I mean, but, at the same time,
I don't want to argue about that.
You're gonna make a lot of money drawing money.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, okay, this isn't the place to argue about John Cena. We're doing a memorial part. So Shad passed away, and then on Friday it was revealed that Hana Kimura, who is a Stardom wrestler, had taken her own life. She was on a Netflix show. Let me pull up the name of the Netflix show if they have it. Oh, Terrace House Tokyo. It was a Japanese version of like The Real World with only like 6 people. And I guess she had like a bad interaction with one of the people on that show and just got, you know, just buried on Twitter. And
there's
that
show
was that
too. So there's 2 different versions of that show on Netflix too, I saw.
Well, the one that she was on, don't expect to see the completion of it because it's probably not going to get posted.
So what was she getting lambasted for?
I guess she had a bad interaction with one of the other cast members on the show, and they took the other person's side and basically just took to Twitter, just tearing her apart. And
I think it was something about ring attire being washed.
Yeah.
Something weird.
But what? I know she made a video. Here's the thing. In Japan, it's a lot different from WWE. You call somebody, you know, unsanitary or, you know, you don't wash your shit in America, and they'll just be like, man, fuck you. In Japan, that's a lot of disrespect, and they take their respect, you know, seriously. So a lot of people are lambasting her on Twitter. She posted a video where you could definitely tell she wasn't in the right state of mind. And the last report I heard, Kyrie Sane had reached out to the other one, the Stardom girls, to maybe check on her. By that point, it was already too late.
Oh man. Social media is a bitch, man.
Well, I forgot who said it, but one person said it best. You should treat social media kind of like a public toilet. Get in, do your shit, get out. The longer you stay, the worse you'll feel.
Very true. I agree. And one more thing to add in regards to Shad Gaspar. He died being a hero, saving his son.
Yeah.
That is in itself unparalleled. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. That he would do that. I mean, you would expect every father to say they would do it, but then to actually be put in that position, oh man, I don't know. That's tough. But kudos to him and RIP.
So trying to go on to maybe a better tone before we get into wrestling. Has anyone done any kind of like eating out at restaurants or anything in the past week? Any stories to talk about? Because I got a couple.
Have I?
I've gone to my usual tried and true spots. They have not let me down. So.
What about you, Mac?
I went somewhere. I was supposed to go to One Eye Jack's in Lockport, but they were closed. That was recent. No, not off the top. If I do think of something, I'll let you guys know. But I don't think so.
So this past weekend, we decided to, eat out, and she got Ruby Tuesday, I got Olive Garden. So the way that the times worked out, I decided, okay, I'll get Ruby Tuesday first, and then I'll drive over and get the Olive Garden. It'll work out perfect. So I order both online. I show up to Ruby Tuesday, go in, and let them know that I'm here to pick up an order, give them my name, and they look at me like I've just spoken Greek to them. We don't have anyone by that name. I ordered it. Well, we don't have it. And I'm like, well, you sent me an email. And I pull up the email. I show her the email. She looks at it and goes, the email disappeared. So
What?
I take it back and notice that she's hit trash on the email. So I have to go into my trash folder and pull the email back up. Now I'm getting pissed.
Wait. Time the fuck out. You hand the worker your phone.
Yeah.
The worker says, yeah, sorry, you don't have that email that was in your inbox that you thought you had. It just
No.
disappeared.
She looked at it and went, oh, the email disappeared somewhere. And I'm like, where, like, how the fuck did it just, and then I look and it's in the trash folder. And I'm like, okay, you motherfucker. Here it is. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that it wasn't made. Okay, that'll be about 20 minutes because we have to make it for you. And I'm just blown away. So I go back to my car and I'm like, I'm not even going to bother going to Olive Garden. I'll pick up my soon-to-be cold-ass food after she brings out my food. So she makes up the food, brings it out to the car, hands it to me, and then says, it's not mandatory, but if you like to, you can leave a tip. And at this point, everything inside of me was fucking screaming. And I'm just like, listen, if we didn't have to go to Take Two to get my food, you would have probably gotten a tip. You seem like a nice waitress. But yeah, I mean, now I got to go pick up my cold food because of this. I'm not giving you a tip. I'm sorry. And I left like that. Olive Garden was fine. They had no problems. But Ruby Tuesday, I'm sorry, but I will not be going back to you. The food was decent, but that's probably because it was cooked fresh. But I'm not going to be going.
Drew, important question here. What time was this?
This was like 4:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were one of those last minute orders. I don't feel like doing
No,
this.
this was like dinner time.
Interesting. We went to OG, and OG fucked up. This is something I can share.
Yeah.
OG. I wanted lasagna, and my girl brought food home and opened it up, and it was fettuccine alfredo. So I said, "What the fuck is this?" So she goes, "This is not what I ordered." I'm like, apparently it's not. So I said, "What are you going to do about it?" She called OG up, and OG said, "We'll reimburse you." So they gave her a gift card, which was supposed to be there 5 minutes later. Didn't end up being there until 5 o'clock later the next day.
Jesus Christ.
The whole point of the story is, Drew, and this is something that I follow when I can the most, is eat local.
The only problem with this, it's such a pain in the ass because a lot of these local places just do not put their menu on their website. So it's like you have to be a regular to even know what the fuck they're selling.
Yeah, somewhat. I hate chain restaurants. People make fun of me. We were going out to a dinner with my girlfriend and a couple friends, and they were all married. We're the only unmarried couple there. And they're like, "Oh, let's go to Cheesecake Factory." I'm like, why? I mean, we have a whole bunch of local, really good restaurants. So we ended up going, and I ordered chicken fingers and fries. I go, all that shit y'all eating is just frozen shit they ship in from somewhere else. It's not fresh. I'd rather eat fresh. So I got called a kid.
I don't know why you're being called a kid. I mean, when you're basically saying, let's eat somewhere local, but, you know, I understand because you got chicken fingers with fries, but, you know, that, you know, here's the thing. The only place I go local is Polisville around here just for the fact that they're the only one I know their menu. Everyone else is just like, and I don't know what. Okay, one of you guys has to turn down your volume. I am just getting the worst echo.
I don't think it's me.
Or where
I
the heck?
literally was on mute.
Something.
I literally was on mute.
Well, you're on mute, but okay. I mean, I don't know. Anywho, yeah, I mean, these local restaurants, if they put up their menu on their website or something, it would be a lot better because that way you can order knowing what the fuck they sell and what their prices are. That's mainly the reason I go to chain restaurants because it's accessible.
Listen, man, they price you when they see you. That's how it works.
Well, that's a shitty way of doing business, son.
For you, $14.
Sounds like what is it? The Slammin' what is it? Slammin' Crab or whatever the fuck that new place is, where Crab Shack used to be. Storm and Crab.
Slamming Crab will be next.
You go on their fucking website, and it's just like, oh, it's market price. What the fuck's market price? It changes every day.
Well, Drew, fancy restaurants will charge market price. Well, even Red Lobster will sometimes try to sneak it in there. It's like, we know what the fuck's going on, Red Lobster.
Well, let's get into AEW then, because I think we've wasted our fans' time enough. And, you know, I know that there's at least one person who's going to go, you talk about food too much.
They've already unsubscribed.
Right.
You know what this podcast is about. It's about food. It's about wrestling. You know what's up.
Did our winner ever redeem their reward?
Yes, I did get in contact with them, and I did give the reward out.
Nice.
Congratulations to that person. I don't know who you are.
Wow.
Well, that person won a free month of WWE Network.
Yes.
Big ups to them.
Fun fact is, I kind of panicked when I was getting the gift card because every store was only selling 3 months. I'm like, well, do not tell me I have to give out 3 months worth of WWE Network for 50 fucking subscribers.
No,
But
that's something like a Hyundai or something like that. Something greater.
They're probably a hardcore AEW fan too.
A smart one.
A smart one. All right, smart. Let's get to it then.
Okay. So AEW Dynamite starts off with Jon Moxley in action against Dark Order member 10. 10 was actually pretty good in action. Mind you, Brody Lee is still in possession of the AEW World Championship at this point. He's not the champion, but he's in possession of the belt. Moxley does beat 10 and then puts a chair over 10's arm, threatening to break his arm if he doesn't get his world title back. Brody Lee comes on the Jumbotron and lets him know that he is just on his way out of the arena. He's not going to be seeing Jon Moxley at all today. He's sacrificing 10 to the greater good. Jon Moxley shatters his arm.
Are you playing with poker chips?
What?
Is somebody playing with poker chips?
No, that's what I'm asking. I mean, I keep on hearing. First off, I keep on hearing my echo. So y'all got to get fucking headsets or something. Yes, Mac. Mute your thing. Jesus Christ. Or turn your fucking volume down. Also, yeah, he's playing fucking Titanfall, so that's what you hear.
My volume is not even on.
What?
My volume is not even on.
Okay. Second match, MJF against Marco Stunt.
Drew, hold on. Before you go to the second match, I wanted to ask, did they toss the belt in the river?
No.
Brody
Lee is in possession of it, so he's declaring himself AEW champion.
Okay.
Even though he hasn't won a match.
No, I mean he's undefeated in AEW. He hasn't beat anyone like actually serious, but he's undefeated.
I have a question because I haven't watched in a couple weeks. Jake Hagar, what is the haps on him?
What do you mean?
Well, he got a title shot, then it just went away.
Yeah,
out of the picture completely.
I think that when you lose, you bump down a few spots. So I mean, he's not number one contender, but I'm sure he's still up there somewhere.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking because I don't know if guys are happy or not guys, but fans are happy with who they've put next up as a challenger. I mean, Jericho hasn't gotten that rematch yet. Brody Lee's there. Hagar's there. I don't know if people are looking for continuity or what.
So mind you, first and foremost, they're not the company that's going to be doing rematch clause, rematch clause, rematch clause. If you lose a championship match, obviously you're going to be bumped down some spots. Having said that, I don't think that they're going to be spending a lot of, okay, Mac, you got to use your fucking mic. You're killing me here. Jesus Christ. So I don't think that they're going to be taking the guys who are, fan favorites and putting them in the championship match because of the fact that their fans aren't there right now. I think they're going to be saving some of the more marquee names, maybe some of the AEW guys that they actually want to get over in title match opportunities. Maybe they'll be saving them for when they get their fans back. But right now, yeah, they're going to be having guys like Brody Lee and stuff like that because they need title matches, but not necessarily ones that are dependent on the crowd response.
Okay, well, I mean, I honestly don't. I hope they don't go the same route that the WWE is going with Number one, kill themselves with multi-man championship matches often. Number two, rematch clauses often. Because they shouldn't have to go that route. Because they do have a lot of guys. I just want them to establish a base of, all right, here's our A class, here's our B class, and C class, and then jobbers, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of why they're doing it the way that they're doing it, where it's like, you know, they have the ranking system, but at the same time, it's not going to be, hey, this guy lost, but he gets a rematch because that's how we're doing it. You know, you lose, you're not getting your rematch right away. You might have to go through several matches before you're even considered again. I do like that theory. I do like the way that they do that. I know that there's some people, mainly the ones on this podcast, who don't like the ranking system at all. But having said that, it's a good way to kind of cycle the guys who are going to be getting championship matches. No, it's not like, you know, the NFL standings where it's definite this is where you stand for the playoffs. It's more of like a college football standing where it's there. We don't really care. Maybe the number 3 team will go for the national championship. Who knows?
It's not that, I mean, I'll speak for myself here. It's not that I don't like the ranking system. It's just not going to work all the time, especially if they're lucky. And what I mean by that is if you get to a point where you can build 2 megastars in that company, you're going to have them face a couple times because it's going to be a money draw. And you're going to have to do away with the ranks at some point for them.
I don't think that you have
just
to.
How it's have to be.
I think you could do it in a way where if somebody loses and you want them to be in another match the next pay-per-view, the pay-per-views are spaced out enough to where they can get, you know, enough steam throughout the Dynamite tapings to say, okay, they're challenging for the title belt again next month because of the fact that, you know, he's won every match on Dynamite and has won a number 1 contenders match. You can do it that way. There's no pay-per-view every month. I mean, the next one's not scheduled until I don't think it's scheduled until maybe September. So you have time.
Okay, you're talking about right now. I'm talking about just if this company stays 3 or 4 years. You think they're going to keep that pace?
I don't think it's going to be every month. I think that they might add maybe like two pay-per-views at most. But I think that they definitely want to space it out to where at the very closest, it would be every other month. And that's a good pace for them. 6 pay-per-views a year is plenty. You know, WWE's rocking what? 14 to 16 pay-per-views a year? It's ridiculous. You can't keep up. It seems like every 2 weeks there's a pay-per-view.
So, Drew, let me ask you this. If you were a booker for AEW and you're planning your biggest show, your AEW WrestleMania show, and you had to put on a singles match as the main event, who are you putting on as of right now as that main event?
Can I ask, are we assuming that Moxley's a champion?
Is he one of your top 2 guys?
I mean, right now, yes.
Okay, let's assume.
So let's assume that he's a champion. I would work it up to where MJF would eventually be the challenger. Because if we're looking at the biggest show of the year in the WrestleMania show, that's a show that you should be building your next big star. You don't need legend versus legend. That nobody cares. How many times have you heard, oh, did you see Roman versus The Undertaker? Which one was that again? But you remember like WrestleMania 14, Austin's coming out party. You remember WrestleMania 15, The Rock's coming out party. That's where you make your stars. I would make MJF at the next big show and have him beat Moxley. That's me if I'm a booker.
Jake the Snake versus Arn Anderson will put butts in seats, pal.
Not as the main event. I don't need to see Jake the Snake Roberts crying in front of a boxer who retired 20 years ago, okay?
He's coming back.
Let's move on.
By the way, they said Jake the Snake Roberts, and I'm like, yo, they're getting fucking sued. That's all Vince needed to hear. Did they say the snake? Yeah. Oh, that's mine. That's mine, motherfucker. That's mine.
Yeah, he probably can't wait to sue the pants off of AEW.
Oh. Well, the next thing that we had, speaking of Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I skipped one. MJF is back in action. He was injured for a little while. But he is back and facing Marco Stunt. And honestly, this was probably Marco Stunt's best match on Dynamite up to this point. He did lose, but it was Marco Stunt's probably best match to date. MJF definitely helped him get over and did make it, it wasn't Marco Stunt's best match because of Marco Stunt. MJF just showed off how good he is at making somebody look good. So that's another reason why I would think that, if I'm building the biggest show of the year, he's the main event. Like, he is their top heel, and he needs to be treated like it. Next segment was Jake Roberts.
I was going to say about MJF.
Yeah.
I was going to say about MJF real quick. Okay, Booker, put your Booker hat on. What is it going to take for me, Swervy, Avi, Jeff to say, okay, MJF, I see you. You deserve to be in the spot. As of right now.
Well, I don't know about Avi. I know Jeff thinks that he's a great heel. I think he's a great heel. I think for you and Swervy to say it, first and foremost, you'd have to actually start watching the product. Because if you don't do that, then you're not going to get any of it at all. He needs to be on TV a little bit more. He was injured for a little bit. Obviously, this whole pandemic is kind of hurting him because he relies on that crowd interaction, that just taking the piss out of a crowd. When there's no crowd there, it hurts him. So he's going to need that crowd back. Once they come back, he's going to gain a lot more steam.
Yeah, I mean, I watch, just not as consistently as I should to formulate an opinion. That's why I'm not a booker. I don't want to peg myself as a booker. I ask you because I know you watch more than I do. But when I saw MJF for the very first time, I go, this guy screams heel. We had a episode where we talked about him sticking the middle finger up next to a kid. You said that was a heel. I said that was a little bit much. This guy can be the next one up. With this COVID thing, though, he's going to have to find a new way to reinvent the heel, or the heel as he knows it.
Let me just point something out, though, when you mentioned him flipping off the kid. You said it was a bit much. However, you asked, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you asked, how are they getting mainstream? What are they doing that's mainstream? When he flipped off that kid, it was talked about on every major sporting platform that, here's this pro wrestler who's flipping off a kid. Now, yeah, some people might sit there and go, maybe that's not the publicity AEW wants. But in pro wrestling, any news is good news. Any publicity is good publicity. And the fact that him just doing that simple gesture and an autograph signing got literally that much media attention shows he knows what it takes to get eyes on the product and butts in the seats. Yeah, some people might sit there and go, it's a bit too much, but of course he's a heel. He wants you to think that. You shouldn't be sitting there going, okay, this guy's a comfortable heel. Being a heel is almost like a horror movie. The best ones make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, but we were speaking, I know I can speak for Swerve on this. We were more so on the side of a business acumen, saying, okay, yes, you're getting that exposure, but at what cost? Are you losing by quote unquote gaining, or are you putting yourself in a bad position for in the future?
Well, here's the thing, though. They didn't really lose anything. The sponsors that they have understand the product that they're sponsoring. No sponsors dropped them. It's not like, a sponsor saw that and went, oh my God, this is a pro wrestling company, and then dropped them.
Well, let me ask you this. have they seen any uptick since that? Because I haven't seen AEW everywhere since.
Because, I mean, they haven't done anything like that since. That's the thing. It's sensationalism with news. It's the next story is the next story. Of course, almost right after that is when we got hit with COVID. So, I mean, AEW is not going to be in the news. But, once you're able to be around fans and once he is able to interact with fans, he might be back in that kind of spotlight. It's not something where he's like spitting on a kid or, physically getting an altercation with a kid or their parents. It's, hey, I want to have my picture taken with the worst heel in the company who's known for being, a little overzealous with his heelness. Okay, well, that's what you got.
Drew, sticking your finger up sticking your middle finger up at a kid can get you in an altercation with their parents. Just saying.
Oh, then the parent should have been a parent and not said, hey, you know who I should get an autograph signing from? The guy who's consistently swearing on TV, the guy who, has said the most vulgar shit, on pay-per-view, on TNT, pushed all those boundaries. That's who I need to get an autograph for my kid from. These aren't free autographs. It's not like you're going, around the table. You have to pay specifically for each wrestler that you want to get. So they said, I specifically want MJF. So you know what you're getting. So if the parent was offended, then the parent should be taking a look in the mirror going, hey, maybe I shouldn't have gotten an autograph with that wrestler. It's like if you wanted an autograph with Steve Austin and he put the finger up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. How can you not believe that? That's his fucking gimmick. Like, why are you paying for an autograph from somebody you don't understand their gimmick for?
Steve Austin never put the finger up at you.
I mean, he technically did every time he went into the turnbuckle.
I mean, I hear all of that. Right. But flipping it back to exposure, that's what I'm concerned with.
I mean, he's not like walking around to the front of the table and literally putting his hand in the kid's face. It was off to the side of the kid's head. Kid couldn't even see it.
Let me ask you, Drew, you think he got a talking to about that?
No. I don't believe so. Because, I mean, the entire company, Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes, both said, listen, we're not going to be telling our wrestlers that they need to act a certain way. Their characters, they have character freedom. If you're going to be in an autograph signing with MJF, you need to understand you're getting the autograph signing with MJF. You're not getting it with a watered-down version because you paid a little extra. You're getting that character.
See, I would take it to the level. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. Some of these tactics feel a little cheapish. When I say tactic, I don't mean heel tactic. I mean tactic as a company. Yes, that's finger. Hold on.
That's actually funny because I actually think that it would be cheapish if they went the other direction, where it's like, hey, you paid a little extra, so we're going to water it down for you. Hey, oh, you paid extra? No, don't call me Undertaker. I'm Mark. It's like, no, I want the Undertaker. That's what I paid for. The lines
have been blurred between kayfabe and non-kayfabe, you know it.
That's fine. But at the same time, if you're paying a little extra for an autograph signing, you want your autograph signed by that guy that you see on TV. You don't want it from, whoever the fuck, arrives to the building 6 hours early, that guy. I don't want that guy's autograph. I want MJF's autograph. That's what I'm paying for. So if you're bringing a kid who's acting like, oh, I don't want to stand next to him, that's the parent's fault. Fuck it. I'm not going to sit there as a wrestler and go, oh, can I do my gimmick around him? No, you paid your fucking money. That's what you're getting.
Swerve, I would ask you a couple questions because you bring up if he did that with the parent could kick their ass. Got you. 2 questions. One, do you think that stunt that they pulled got them more exposure as a company? Just Swerve, I'm asking.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't see any more about it, so I'll just say no.
Number 2, how much do you think they paid AEW, or how much do you think AEW paid Mike Tyson?
Oh, shit. I have no idea.
Okay, that's fine. You think it was enough to maybe bring in more exposure to the AEW? And here's a hint. We're not seeing that exposure.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I think the timing was wrong for the Tyson thing, which I'm sure we'll get into, but the timing was wrong. Had they waited a little bit longer to use him, then they would have brought him more.
When fans were there, that's when you pop.
Well, that
You do
too,
that.
but also after he has already made his return, which he's in the process of doing.
So here's the thing. He's in the process of making his return. So people who are looking online, Googling Mike Tyson to see about his return, AEW is going to be showing up in that search field because he was recently in AEW. Now you can sit there and go, oh, well, that doesn't count. Well, no, it does. It counts. Because if you're Googling one thing and that shows up, it's bringing eyeballs to you. It's you are putting your company in that traffic so that people who may never have heard of you went, what the fuck was this? And then they read it and they go, oh, well, maybe I'll check that out. Or maybe I'll watch that.
I
It.
agree, but let me ask you: is it going to be enough?
Well, first and foremost, as far as like what they paid him, I can guarantee you it wasn't nearly as much as Vince paid him back in '98.
I'm just saying, I
Because
see a lot of WCW shit going on here, and I'm not liking it.
I mean, you sit there and you say, "Oh, it's WCW shit," but I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that WCW did right that they're doing, and a lot of stuff that they did wrong that they're not doing. There's a lot of stuff that WWE is doing that AEW did. I don't hear you criticizing that.
I'll get to it because we got to talk about Raw, which they copied off of AEW.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure you're gonna be calling that a great fucking idea because WWE did it.
I'm not a WWE fanboy. I have no loyalty.
I mean,
I
don't know about
good
that.
product. Go ahead.
Because literally, every time AEW does something, you shit all over it.
I don't.
Not specifically you. You shit on it sometimes. You have like the constipation shits where you're like, I want to shit on it, but I got nothing to shit on. Swervy, on the other hand, takes his laxative fucking daily and will shit on it even if it doesn't deserve it. And let me tell you something. When we get to pay-per-view, I will give them the criticism that they deserve on some parts.
Thank you.
And not just the pay-per-view, but also this AEW Dynamite show. I'm going to criticize this shit too. So I'm going to show you that I have some criticism for them. So if I can admit that there's criticism, can you at least admit that they're doing some stuff right?
I don't understand why we having this conversation. I've given them props before.
You gave them props to the fact that like they could turn on their fucking cameras. You've given them like so many like backwards compliments that are like that's actually like an insult in disguise. Like a backhand, like, hey, you guys on your way to the arena. Like,
just hurry up and get through the show and let's get to the pay-per-view, okay?
You're still doing it.
All right. Talk about the pay-per-view.
All right, so the next part, Jake Roberts, Arn Anderson had quote-unquote business talk. Basically, it was a contract signing, but just between them two.
Drew doesn't even want to cover this shit. You hear it in his voice. He's you're uneasy, bro. I hear it.
Yeah, this was unneeded. This was definitely unnecessary. I'm just gonna skip it. It was unnecessary. I thought it was stupid. Let's go on to the next one, which is Rey Fenix against Orange Cassidy. Are you ready for me to be critical?
You gonna criticize the one guy I don't want you to criticize?
I'm not gonna criticize Orange Cassidy.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna criticize why on your go home show for a pay-per-view is somebody peeing right now?
Or pouring champagne? Damn.
What the fuck?
I'm about to pass out.
Yo, Mac, you're not discreet, man.
I'm not peeing. I'm not peeing.
It's like how fucking if you're gonna do that.
I thought it was on mute. I'm sorry. I was cleaning the dish. I'm sorry. I'm not pissing.
Eating a dish. Okay.
Go ahead. What's the go home show?
So if you're on the go home show of Dynamite, well, on Dynamite right before the pay-per-view. Why on earth do you have your talent taking so many dangerous fucking spots to where they're going to get injured and not be able to be on the pay-per-view? Phoenix took a nasty shot where he actually ended up being off the pay-per-view because of this. I don't know why every single pay-per-view they have this issue where it's like, hey, it's right before the pay-per-view, let's do these fucking crazy ass spots, and then somebody's injured. And this had 2 injuries on this show. This is the first of 2. What's that?
That's out of WWE's playbook.
Yeah, it really is, but I don't understand why they do it. You don't need to do that.
I was going to say, could it be that they're desperate for our eyes?
I don't think so. They're winning their time slot. They're not desperate. I think it's just
or how can we get more people to watch the pay-per-view?
I think it's a last-ditch attempt to get people to buy a pay-per-view, which is unneeded. All you have to do is literally just accentuate all the rivalries you got going on and hype them up. You don't need to have, Phoenix taking some fucking, ladder fucking shot where you're jumping off the ladder, missing, and destroying your fucking back. Like, you don't need that. You do not need that.
It's just going to be a slow grind. I mean, right now, nobody cares about Brody Lee. I'm sorry. That's supposed to be your big draw match, if not, well, one of them. And nobody cares about that guy. I'm sorry.
That is a stopgap right now because of the fact of Corona. I guarantee you. He would not be in the main event if there were fans in the crowd. Right now it is, we need a main event for the review. Let's put Brody Lee in there.
So
you
saying he's the Apollo group?
I'm saying that he's a capable guy who could be in the main event, who is not going to win that belt, but he's capable. That's what it is. We can make people believe that he is a main event guy, but we have no intention of making him a main event guy. The next match is, again, what the fuck, guys? Female tag team match, Nyla Rose and Britt Baker against Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. At one point in this match, Nyla Rose is dropped on Britt Baker's leg, fucking up her leg completely. She's out of the pay-per-view. She, at this point, is probably the female wrestler that they're spending the most time and money on as far as promo work, as far as developing character. She went from being irritating to being actually really good as a heel. And now you just destroy her fucking leg because of a dumb botch, rather. Which, by the way, Nyla Rose really trying to be the next Nia Jax here.
I saw it coming.
But I'm just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, this is the second match in a row where they lose a fucking person from the pay-per-view because of dumb shit.
But you know what? Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt her. It does. But it's not as big of a deal had it been if there were fans there.
Maybe, but...
Drew mouth, number one. Okay.
No, she's terrible.
That's number two. Yes. Why the fuck are you doing this? Who's quality control in the back?
Whoever it is, they need to be fucking gone. Like, it's serious. You can't have a fucking pay-per-view where literally you need to make in bold letters card subject to change because we don't know. This is what.
No, I was gonna ask, what pay-per-view was it where it was literally just talking from AEW? I forgot what it was, but they might want to go back to that, or you need to feature guys who aren't going to be on the pay-per-view at all.
As far as that goes, I don't know what pay-per-view had just talking, but with AEW, what I will say is there's a reason WWE has agents to help plan out a match. It is to make sure that if somebody's like, "Oh, this is a move I want to do," the agent can go, "Yeah, that's terrible. Don't do that." You can't just leave it to the wrestlers to go, "Hey, let's do this crazy ass spot the day before a pay-per-view," because they're going to do it. And if they get hurt, realistically to them, it's not that big of a deal because they're under contract. So they'll come back and be in whatever spot that they're in when they come back. For you, the promoter, you're in a bind now because now there's a match that you promised that you can't deliver. And it hurts you. And, here's the problem. They always say, if somebody can't wrestle, you give them somebody of equal or greater value. But they couldn't. They couldn't do that either because there was nobody else better to put in her spot. Sheeta was already in a match, and Nyla Rose was in a match. So it's like, fuck. This match just got kind of shitty. So, yeah, they need to make sure that they're not injuring their wrestlers right before pay-per-view. Next match was Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara. It was the main event on the show. It kind of led up to the match that they're going to be doing at the pay-per-view, the Stadium Showdown. So, it ended with, all the teams just basically just flooded into the ring. It was what it was. It really was what it is, which was, just promoting the pay-per-view. That's kind of what they need to do, is promote the pay-per-view instead of having crazy-ass spots. So,
Yeah.
I can hate on this.
That right there is what you call a JR special.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like
JR
having where it's a response finish. It's like, oh, folks, if you don't know what's going to actually happen, we have to have a finish. Tune into pay-per-view.
Right.
They can go back. They can go back to doing the pump fake,
What's that?
which is where you advertise that those two guys are going to fight that night on TV instead of waiting for the pay-per-view. And then when the time comes, at 10:58, you get the pull-apart guys ready.
I mean, that's kind of what they did for the pay-per-view with two of the matches because they promoted them and they couldn't deliver.
You gotta love the pull-apart guy, the Perry Saturns of the world.
Here's the thing: if you're a pull-apart guy, just retire. Just retire. That's a company saying, "Listen, we don't really have that much stock in you. You're a pull-apart guy."
If you're listening to this and you're a pull-apart guy, do not listen to Drew. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Now, it could be
that's called the heaven when your career's dead.
Well, no, it could be a long, hard, and slow trek, or you could cruise your way to gold. We'll talk about that soon.
Well, the only thing that's worse than the pull-apart guy is when they have wrestlers pretend to be security.
That's only when you're an indie, though. You're not established at that point.
Yeah, pull-apart guy, security. Also, guy who's in the Royal Rumble, who's outside of the ring, who takes a aerial bump, quote unquote. That guy doesn't mean shit either.
When you're that guy, just put up a hand. Just put up a hand.
Right.
Oh, like the Singh brothers?
Yep.
Yes.
Just, yeah, no, I got you. I'll catch you. Yeah, no problem. Just putting up one hand. The Kane special, as I call it. Did you want to go to SmackDown or Double or Nothing?
We should finish with Double or Nothing.
Yeah, let's go to Double or Nothing. That's what I was going to say.
All right. So Double or Nothing. Pre-show was Best Friends taking on Private Party. The winner of this match became #1 contenders for the tag titles. and Best Friends did end up winning this match. Solid pre-show match. It's nice to see that they have some stakes in the pre-show match. It's not just, wrestlers wrestling for no reason. It's, number one contendership. The show opened with the definitely not Money in the Bank match, where it was a giant poker chip. See, it's not a briefcase, it's a giant poker chip hanging from the ceiling, and they did it a weird way for this casino ladder match. Instead of having everyone come out and wrestle like that, it was a Royal Rumble style. So start with two guys, every 5 minutes or so, another wrestler comes out.
And it was a Royal Ladder match.
Yeah, the match could end before everyone's in, which is really weird. Match started out with tag team partners, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky in the match. Eventually, Kip Sabian, Orange Cassidy, Cole Cabana, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela made their way to the ring. And then the mystery entrant entered the ring. And this was Brian Cage from Impact Wrestling, managed by Taz. And nothing says bad intro music like Taz giving a monologue at the beginning of it. But Brian Cage came out, tore a ladder in two. You wouldn't know that because the camera was out of place. I fucking love that. He's coming out of the ladder, and you just see him just about to tear apart the ladder before the camera cuts away. I'm like, good job, guys. Good job. Keep up the good work.
He was out of breath for 2 minutes.
What's that? Oh yeah, no, he was
within the first 2 minutes of slamming folks or whatever he was doing.
He was not in ring shape at all. Luchasaurus was
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Luchasaurus was in this match as well. Brian Cage, now don't forget, he hasn't wrestled in a couple months. He left Impact. He signed with AEW, but didn't debut for a few months. I'm not giving him an excuse. I think they probably should have stayed in ring shape. But anywho, slammed a bunch of guys, got really gassed, and then they just buried him in shit and let him.
Like he did easy.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, catch your breath, pal. So the match went on. Eventually, Brian Cage tore all the shit off of him. Laid out everyone again. Ended up winning the match. So Brian Cage is the number one contender for the AEW World Championship on his first fucking night. Anyone have thoughts?
My
thought
is, how long do you think they're going to wait to pull the trigger on that? Because, again, I didn't know who he was until they said, he came from Impact. But I didn't watch Impact, and I never will. So I don't know how much of a deal he was over there. But does this feel, or do you think this feels like would have felt like a big deal had there been fans? Because that's how you tell. That's how you gauge it. But since there weren't any and there were people in the crowd who were paid to cheer, how you gauge this?
So first off, he was a big deal in Impact. He was their champion for a little bit. Second off, it would have made a lot more of a difference with fans there because I'm sure that the fans knew who he was, so he would have definitely gotten a bigger pop if fans were. Well, he would have gotten a pop if fans were there, but there was no pop because there was just wrestlers there. As far as when they're going to pull the trigger, they've already announced that for Fyter Fest, which is the next pay-per-view, he's challenging. So he is number one contender. That's the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. Yeah. Do you think
now, mind you? I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna say. Do you think would you rather the AEW to save themselves and not show all their cards because with Corona things stopped, but it sounds like you're just saying, you know what, fuck it, we're doing what we have planned.
I think that the whole problem is that you sign the guy to a contract. You don't know when this is going to end. Do you really want to pay a guy for a year to not wrestle because you're saving him? for when there's fans. At some point, you just gotta be like, well, fuck it, just have him
But
Well,
take it.
nobody's saying he's not wrestling. Just don't blow your championship match already, because you know he's not going to probably win it. he's just
Well,
being fed to Dean Ambrose right now.
honestly, you
well,
never know.
I mean, what are they doing with Ty Dillinger?
He wrestled later on the night.
Okay.
We'll get to that guy. Don't you worry.
So, as far as the next pay-per-view and no fans, you don't know that because, I mean, it is in Florida. So they can easily have, maybe 25% capacity. They could maybe have fans for the next pay-per-view. So that's a possibility. I believe the next pay-per-view is in July for Fyter Fest.
Yeah, shit is slowly opening up, so possibly.
So you got 2 months. So as long as something doesn't terribly happen, you're good. The next match that we had, MJF taking his tour of the Jurassic Express, taking on Jungle Boy this time. Match was actually... What's that?
This was match of the night.
Yeah. This was a really good match. Once again, MJF making a guy who usually doesn't have good singles matches look really good. They did a heel tactic in this match that I hadn't. Maybe they have done this before. I haven't seen it. Where he grabbed the ref's leg and the ref trying to shake him off accidentally shook the top rope, causing the babyface to get, crotched on the top rope. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. I haven't. I thought it was a pretty good technique.
I remember when guys got hit inadvertently, and then that happened to him. I don't know about the ref.
Yeah, he grabbed the ref's leg, and the ref trying to shake him off grabbed the top rope for leverage, trying to shake him off, and accidentally shook the rope on the guy on the top rope.
Yeah, I like the reverse hurricane rana outside the ring or on the ring apron, outside the ring ropes. I like that spot. I like the injury fake. Haven't seen that since Alexa Bliss. She's got some stuff going on Twitter too, by the way, but we can talk about that later. The only qualm I have with this match is that I know MJF is a heel and he did do some heel things, but not really. And if you look at it from a heel all the way on the heel scale, he won clean. And
yeah,
that's not a good look for Jungle Boy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You don't want the guy to win.
He should have had interference from Wardlow, man. That's all I'm saying.
I don't even think Wardlow was. No, he was there. I'm sorry, he was there. Yeah, but no, I agree with you. It should have definitely been a dirty finish to really promote that heel tactic.
I mean, it was dirty. He pulled the tights. It just wasn't dirty enough. That's just hey, I went out there and I proved I'm better than you. I'm cocky enough and I backed it up. So that just makes the face look extra small. How are you going to build that guy up? You know what I'm saying? If he don't need goons to beat you.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying there. No, I definitely agree with that. Unless they're just trying to make it seem like MJF is somewhat credible instead of just, hey, I need Wardlow to win every match. No, I can win a match. If you are gearing him up to be a top guy, you don't want it to be something where it's just listen, I need Wardlow every match.
Yeah. But all in all, it was the match of the night for me.
Yeah, no, that's definitely up there. I have a different match tonight, but that was definitely up there. The next match, we bring out One half of the biggest upset in boxing history, and not the half that wants to be remembered for it. Mike Tyson with what looks like the ugliest fucking championship belt in the world.
Hey, that's the work in progress championship now. Get it right.
You know what? Uwap Jeff said it best. He says, "What do you think really happened? You think that they are a work in progress of this belt, or do you think that they showed the belt a couple minutes before the match started? Tony Khan got one look and went, oh, fuck, just tell him it's not finished yet." This thing makes the 24/7 championship look like the spinner belt.
It looks like it was sitting in the aisle right next to that thing.
If the 24 championship looks like a toy, this looks like a dollar store toy. It is fucking bad.
Worst belt in the WWE or in wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, by fucking far. It is worse than some of those 80s territory championship belts that were just a gold slab.
Your boy Shivani said, as good as the belt looks now, it's not finished yet, so it's going to look even better in the weeks to come.
Well, your boy Shivani also said, Mick Foley just won the world championship. That'll put butts in the seats. So that belt's atrocious to look at. It is a hard motherfucker to look at. Cody versus Lance Archer wrestling for this belt for some reason. I mean, if I was out there, I'd just lay the fuck down. But they wrestle. Oh, you know what? Let me just pull something up right now.
Why do you think the belt strap is red? You think that was to like sway your decisioning prior to the match?
I mean, it didn't work for the Universal title. I don't know why it would work for this belt.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, Lance Archer had mostly red on. The belt was red. Thought it would be a nice fit.
Maybe. But I want to just read between the lines, and I want to read you some quotes for this match. And the quote goes like this: "Behold the King of Kings, on your knees, dog. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm reading Triple H's theme lyrics. I apologize. I just saw Cody bury a guy that they've been trying to promote for the last fucking 4 weeks. And for some reason, I just started reading Triple H's theme lyrics. I don't know why. Why do we promote this guy as this big, strong, nasty fucking heel for weeks for Cody to beat this guy clean? Why? Can anyone...
I wasn't there for the build-up, but as a guy just watching the match and knowing all of the times Cody has taken an L, I'm on Cody's side with this one. I feel like he had to win it in order to be somebody, or else everybody was just going to be walking over him.
I guess that makes sense. I just don't know why you have it against Lance Archer if you're trying to build this guy up as your nasty heel. I'm sorry, he didn't beat him clean technically. I think that he passed out from like just pain in the submission, which technically
no. You're confusing that with the other match. That's not it.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. No, he beat him clean.
I thought you were gonna do the song in Motorhead voice, Drew.
I know how much I got buried for that last time, so I wasn't gonna be doing that again.
But Drew, it was 2 finishes back to back.
Yeah.
You just not buying it, huh? Well, if you don't mind, I have a quote too,
Okay.
and it's from Mike Tyson.
This motherfucker.
Did you catch all that?
Yeah, I got all that. So can I just say that I feel like the Pyro game in AEW is a lesson in communism. It really is. We control all the Pyro. We determine who gets Pyro. We just get all the Pyro. Because the Elite's the only ones who get Pyro. Everyone else, go fuck yourself. Hey, Cody's here. Mounds of Pyro. Everyone else, go fuck yourself.
Well, Drew, he didn't get his typical entrance though. It was
Did he?
shortened. No, it was shortened. He didn't come from the ground and all the other stuff he usually do. He just came out.
Yeah, it was short, but then he also got like 6 minutes of fucking Pyro behind him.
There was no Brandy. She came out for somebody else.
She came out for his brother. It seemed like a
Bro,
weird.
That's who they use.
bro,
That's who they
bro got
hurt
the Roman Reigns WrestleMania Stadium Pyro.
Mac, why do you sound like you're in a fucking tunnel right now?
I don't know.
Swear,
Sound
like
like
he's in a tunnel to you?
He sounded like he calling from jail.
Yeah, you sound like you're in a well.
I'm not in jail. I didn't go to jail the past 48 minutes.
You in San Quentin?
I don't know what's going on my phone.
Mac, you sound like one of those white kids who fell into a well.
Like Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, you sound like every kid from the 80s who fell into a fucking well. What the fuck is going on with your microphone?
I don't know. I'm trying to fix it. Well, hold on. Well, you guys talk.
God damn, it sounds like T.I. over here, just like rapping from jail. What the fuck?
So, Drew, quality of the match. I thought it was mediocre.
Um,
But I expect
yeah.
much from Lance guy anyway.
My biggest problem is that they went through the stage, and that was something. Lance Archer got bloody for that. Doesn't make sense why. I think they're just playing on when Cody got his face fucked up going onto the stage. I don't know. The match was good. It wasn't great for me. I think I was just bitter at the fact that they kind of just fucked over Lance Archer to where now he's just a guy. Like, he was an unstoppable juggernaut when he came in. That's how they build him. And then Cody just beat him. Like,
Well, Drew, I think you answered the question yourself earlier. When you were talking about MJF, you were saying that he's going to be the top heel, right? Or treat him like the top heel at some point. So you got MJF. You now have the meathead Brian Cage. He's getting a title shot soon. Can you have another big heel, so to speak? And I haven't even gotten to Brody Lee yet. But someone's got to take a fall here. So where do you put it? I mean, if all the heels won, it's going to be NWO sold out.
okay, so you could definitely have Cody win this belt. I don't know why Lance Archer had to be in the finals.
Okay,
You could have had.
Who do you put there?
Fuck, you could have put Ty Dillinger there. You could have put. Yeah. Seriously, like
No, you're not. You're not serious.
I am.
Oh my god! Did
I
you feel
mean,
this?
he's running his mouth like a top guy, like a main bad guy. Hear what he said to Dustin? My favorite. Dustin's like, "I'm gonna beat you. That's a really hard pill to swallow." And Ty Dillinger's like, "Yeah, you know all about hard pills to swallow, don't you?"
Ooh.
Yeah, man, boosting right up to the top with that one.
Anywho, let's go on to the next match. Chris Statlander taking on not Britt Baker, Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford is a decent wrestler, but obviously she's not being pushed as a competitor in any way, shape, or form. So that's what we get.
I'm not going to grade her. She's the Dana Brooke of the women's division.
That is a very accurate statement, and I will agree 100% on that. She's athletic, but she's nothing special.
And she
When
wants to
is
date
she gonna
people.
start coming out holding briefcases? That's my question.
When she gets
Yeah, she's not holding a briefcase, but she comes out in like fancy dresses, I guess.
Okay.
So then we go on to Sean Spears saying that Dustin Rhodes is injured. He's not going to be here. I retired him. Yada yada yada. Dustin shows up behind him, beats his ass, strips him down to his boxers, and it's just a schmoz of a match. I'm not sure if this was to kill time, but Dustin Rhodes beats Sean Spears in like 3 minutes. Did we have anything to say about this, or do we move on?
Drew, I want to ask a question here because I want to make these comparisons. Would you say Sean Spears right now is the Corbin of AEW, or is that giving Sean Spears too much credit?
I think that's giving him too much credit. Because Corbin at least is wrestling top guys. Like
But he loses a lot and he runs his mouth.
He loses a lot, but he's losing to fucking guys like Roman. He's not losing to Goldust Light. I mean,
well, in AEW, Goldust is Roman.
no, he's not.
Why would you say that?
They're in the same place.
They're not in the same place.
Think about Roman's position and Goldust's position.
You can't even believe what you're saying, dude. Look at you.
Are you telling? Wait, what was Roman doing for a whole year?
Nothing.
All right.
He was filming a movie getting over his cancer.
He was wrestling. He was wrestling Corbin for about 7 months out of that year. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but Goldust isn't your top guy, or isn't your top guy.
You said
Now,
Goldust?
No, but can he ask the brass management for time off and probably get it like Roman? Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that statement.
Well, I mean, Cody's his brother. I mean, hey, bro, you gonna give me some time off? Why not? Yeah, sure, take it. We don't need you. That's all that is.
All right.
I can't believe you just said that, though.
I don't see how you could disagree.
Now, Drew, do you hear that button mashing? Because it ain't me. Now, shut
That's
the
me.
fuck up forever.
Okay, the next match is Nyla Rose defending the women's championship against Hikaru Shida.
Drew's Bay.
So, yeah, I love Shida.
Don't forget to add that tagline on it.
I love Shida. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, man. I hear you, dog. I used to not claim him in the streets either. Go ahead.
I got a hot take with this
Oh,
match.
you like Chinese too?
You're so disrespectful.
I'm glad that you're claiming him in the streets now.
Go ahead, bro.
So here's the thing about this match. Leading up to this match, I was intently stating Nyla Rose is retaining. There is no reason she is losing this belt.
Agreed.
And then, right before this match, they did a super long tribute to Hana Kimura.
There you go. You took my hot take. Goddamn.
I went, well, shit. And I'm watching my girl, and she looked over and went, what shit? And I went, Shida's winning this match. You could tell as soon as the placement, like with Shad Gaspar's, moment of silence at the very beginning of the show, I noticed that they didn't mention Kamara at all. And I'm like, okay, that's That's weird that they didn't mention her when they have a lot of Japanese female talent on the show, and Kenny's close to a lot of the Japanese females, but that's weird that they wouldn't mention her. And then they do it right before this match, and I'm like, oh, okay.
They pulled the Vince
So
McMahon.
No, Vince would have had her lose on purpose because of that.
I just mean they changed the card the night of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, here's my question. Do you think the plan was always for Sheeta to win?
No.
Or do you? Okay, so you're on the same boat as I am.
Yes, that was my hot take. I agree with that 100%.
Nyla was winning this up until that Friday.
Yeah.
That's what I figured too, because Sheeta, as good as she was not getting as pushed from the commentators and everything as hard as like Chris Statlander was the pay-per-view before, and she didn't even win. So I'm like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm glad the belt is off her and Sheeta won, but I didn't think she was winning.
I love Sheeta. I think Sheeta's one of the best women on this roster as far as in-ring work, and she's getting a lot better with her English. You can actually understand a lot of what she's saying. She translates the crowd a lot better than Ryu did. I think that Ryu being the first women's champion was a huge mistake. I thought that this was probably one of the best women's matches that they've had since they started.
And she looks like she's straight out of Capcom.
That was actually Final Fantasy VII inspired.
It was one of them.
Tifa.
Let me take another approach to this from the standpoint of the new champion. Do you guys see them switching their plans, assuming that they did that? Do you see it as how can I put this? Like, yeah, you're the champion, but you weren't really planned to be champion. Is this like an undercut thing? Should she feel offended that she was handed the belt in this manner? Or are you, if you're in her brain, are you saying, no, I'm okay with how they made me champion?
I mean, I don't think that she's hating on it just because, let's face it, you're not going to hate when you're becoming champion. I think that right now she has more emotions towards her friend who passed away than, who's winning a match on a pay-per-view. Having said that, I personally don't feel that she's going to be a champion for long. I could feel that maybe the next pay-per-view they put it right back on Nyla Rose and go right back to whatever plans that they had with her. This is an appeasement. This is a feel-good moment.
Yeah, I agree with you that it being a feel-good moment, but I don't think it's going right back to Nyla Rose. I was thinking to myself when they said that, when they showed all that stuff, and I was like, well, I wondered if she dedicated this match to her or something like that. Because nobody showed her doing that, nothing like that. But I was like, well, if she did, there's no way they could have her lose.
She didn't dedicate it to her, but they were very good friends, and they did make it, known that these two were really good friends. They knew each other for a very long time. This is not like, oh, it's just because she's a Japanese wrestler. No, they were very good friends from their days in Stardom. So that right there is the big reason why she had won. It sucks that it's played off that way. I think that if she was going to become women's champion, it should have been on her own merits and not, the merits of my friend died and that's why I'm champion now. I think that just darkens her win.
Well, I mean, that happened to Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, and his title reign was terrible.
It was going to be terrible either way, whether he won it then or some other time. I mean, you can't really. I don't think the person who wins can be mad, really. It's a bigger payday for you, no matter how you cut it. Now, if you're the person who was told, hey, you're going to hold on to this for a while, and then it gets taken from you early, you have a right to be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that Nyla Rose probably isn't that pissed just because of the fact that, let's face it, she she had a good run. She was definitely, the first trans women's champion, so there's something there. If you're not counting Santina Morella and Harvey Wibbleman, then she was the first trans women's champion. So that's something that she always had.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Santina wasn't trans.
Close enough.
Cross-dresser, maybe.
I mean,
he did what he had to do to get the bag.
are we talking about money or ball bag?
Oh, man.
We just lost all sponsors that we would have possibly gotten. And I'm okay with that.
Notice how you say that after every line that you say.
Hey, I'm not sometimes Chili Drew. I'm no Chill Drew for a reason, Mel. For a reason. So let's go on to the next match. World title match, not the main event. Jon Moxley defending against Mr. Brody Lee.
This was a snooze.
Let me just say something real quick. I love how this has become an AEW podcast. And I don't mean that sarcasm at all. I just love it. Because this is consistent product.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I like how it's a pro wrestling podcast because it's not just WWE. It's other stuff being put into it. It's just a big pot of wrestling,
And food.
Yeah, it's jambalaya.
Pop culture.
So what do we think about this match?
Yawn.
Well, I didn't watch.
Can we all agree that it was the smartest decision on their part to not make this the main event?
Well, technically, Drew, it was.
It was
the
co-main
last
event
thing that they can show inside the arena. So I don't feel like they were slighted in any way. It looked weird cutting to, a videotape and then coming back to the ring. What are the fans doing? You know what I'm saying?
Not be there. I do like the way that they did this. I do like the fact that for the home audience, they made it where, the better match was on last. Because if that Stadium Stampede was on before this match, I would have fucking just been miserable about this whole pay-per-view. Just like, man, the main event sucked. At least this match wasn't the main event for the people at home. But yeah, it was a snooze. It was, unfortunately, here's my biggest problem with Jon Moxley. He's one-dimensional in the ring. The only thing that you're going to get out of him is brawling. You're not going to get a technical wrestling match. You're not going to get a high-flying wrestling match. You're going to get just a brawl. Brody Lee is somewhat of a brawler, but not very much. So, you get partial there.
It was like watching two JBLs fight.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I was about to say this. I mean, is it just me or am I crazy? But I'd almost rather watch Brody Lee in a wrestling match than Moxley if there's no weapons involved or extracurricular.
Yeah, Brody Lee is actually a decent wrestler, but Moxley, he's one-dimensional. That the only thing he can do is brawl. Go through the arena, brawl, go through the stands. That's all you're going to get out of him.
He really is a new age McFoley, though.
Not to mention his jacket was way too big for him. Didn't match.
It was spray painted gold for some reason. I don't know what that was all about.
And I guess the idea of this finish was you were protecting Brody Lee by having him pass out. Survivor Series, maybe? I don't know. But
yeah, like, oh, you never beat me.
Yeah. But it was no... I don't know. I mean, I would have rather gone out to the turnbuckle exposure and a finisher. but that's just me.
Yeah. Last match of the night, the Stadium Stampede match. The Elite versus the Inner Circle. Swervy, you said you watched this pay-per-view. Mac, you didn't watch anything. Swervy, I'm going to ask you, what did you think about this?
Well, hold on, Swerve. I do want to give one of the wrestlers who was in this match that I did see their proper introduction, and it's just 2 words. Oh yeah, Matt Hardy version 1 was there.
Yes.
I saw that.
All the versions were there.
Matt fact and all.
Now I got if they would have returned with that Matt Hardy, I would be okay, because I think he was better than his brother as far as singles go. Yes, I understand he won the championship. Yes, I understand he was with Undertaker, but I still like that Matt Hardy better than Jeff. This new shit, this ghoulish Party City Spirit Halloween bullshit that I can't believe, he can go away. That's my TED talk.
Yeah, so the match itself, the whole thing was pretty good, and there was some comical moments. I like the fact that when they had a ring in there and they did actually use it, unlike Money in the Bank. But the editing was pretty clever. How they I can't remember the guys' names, but they were pretending as if they did Northern Lights suplex all 100 yards. You know, no way in hell they did that.
Oh, Sammy Guevara and I think it was Matt Jackson.
Yeah, because you know that they would have been out of breath by like the 5th one, even for those guys. Um, so that spot was cool. Sammy was always getting chased, whether it was a golf cart or a horse. Um, Probably my favorite part of the whole thing was the meetup between uh, Adam Page and Jack Swagger when they met in that bar, and he was like, "You come here to fight or to drink or something like that," and then they just started fighting. That was probably the best part to me. Other than that, I thought it just went a little bit too long, but it was pretty funny. I don't know. The other thing I don't agree with was that the faces won. I think that should have been a heel victory since it didn't really mean anything.
Well,
But
I think the biggest reason that they won is because they had been getting their ass kicked repeatedly in this whole feud. That it's like, if they don't win, what the fuck are they doing?
who the heels? I mean, the faces
No, the
were.
baby faces. Yeah, because I mean, the Inner Circle had been whooping their ass for like months.
But when you say that though, are you telling me that losses were actually recorded, or it was just like they got the better of me, grr, show goes off the air?
I mean, both in a sense.
Okay. All right.
Um,
I guess I'll go with that
but
then. I didn't know that.
um, some of the other things that happened during this match that I really enjoyed. Chris Jericho got a near fall, 1-2, and he kicked out, and he pulled out a red flag and called a challenge on the play. And so the referee and him both went into the tent to review the challenge, which stood. They pulled out the line chalk and did that over his face. Chris Jericho hit the Judas effect on the mascot for the Jaguars. I just thought it was the most bonkers thing in the world, and personally, I felt it worked. I don't know if you felt the same
Did
way.
you see on Twitter? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, go on.
No, did you see on Twitter where Jericho said worst referee ever?
I think that he was just fucking with her, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. But Jericho, we said it before, and we'll continue to say it. He can put over anything and anybody,
Oh yeah.
and that is, I mean, you can't ask for that. I mean, better than what he can deliver it with,
Yeah, he is, and he's having fun. He's not going out there going, "This kind of sucks." He's having fun with it.
You know what? I think a lot of those guys are having fun. I just want them behind the scenes to build a product that's going to be able to withstand those guys in Connecticut.
Yes.
Honestly, because I mean, do you notice a drop off with fans versus no fans when it comes to what they put in the ring as far as the WWE? Because I don't.
As far as AEW goes, I don't see that much of a drop off. I think they do the best with what they have. I don't really see them, sitting there going, "Well, there's no fans, so fuck it." As far as what WWE has done, you could definitely tell that when there's no fans there, they, for lack of a better
They say
term,
fuck it.
they say fuck it sometimes and just go, eh.
I mean, they shouldn't, but they do.
Do we want to go into dirt or do we want to go into WWE?
It is up to you.
How juicy is the dirt?
I got some.
Let's go WWE. Let's switch it up.
All right.
And let me pull up SmackDown. I was gonna say something, but I'll leave it. This probably some dirt. All right, so SmackDown opened up. John Morrison and The Miz hosted an episode of The Dirt Sheet. Vince, we know you're listening. We took a shot at Otis. They took shots at the quote-unquote enablers of Otis, Braun Strowman. Then they talked about Bray Wyatt being rejected. And someone's on a motorcycle. So this led to a singles match between Strowman and Miz. Miz lost via pinfall. Braun Strowman got the victory. Anyone care? I'm gonna say no. Moving on, they should name this championship that they're having a tournament for the Sami Zayn Championship. The Intercontinental Championship tournament started with WrestleMania match AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura. He beat Shinsuke via pinfall. Shinsuke was the one who put the work in with retaining that belt. But with AJ coming back, it's probably Stevie Wonder signed, still delivered that he's going to be the champion. Because honestly, if you say, hey, I'm the best wrestler in this company, but at the biggest show, the lasting image will be my hand outside of some dirt of a casket. There's got to be some kind of payoff for you. So that's probably what they're doing with him.
I just want to say that they build that as a WrestleMania match or rematch. I mean, and when you fought 1,700 times, you can't do that.
Can't. Not at all. I don't know why. Are they doing that to say, hey, you should watch this? When people are like, yo, bro, we watched this, I don't know, 20 times already.
Yeah.
There's no mystique behind it.
Yeah, there's no mystique, like you said. It's just the same old thing repeatedly.
Before we go on to the next match, now that we're here, kind of nostalgia question. Is there a dream match out there that is possible that we haven't seen yet?
In WWE land,
Yeah.
that would still look good as versus just, you know, someone in their
Right.
prime.
Right. We can't say, oh man, they should have did this 10 years ago.
I would say that you guys probably wouldn't call it a dream match, but I would say Lesnar versus Lashley. or I don't know how old Batista is, but they never gave us Batista versus Brock Lesnar.
That would be dope. I thought the shoe-in for one of the spots would have been John Cena. But Cena has wrestled everybody.
Yeah.
I like Brock and Batista. Would you do... I'm trying to think of who else is out there. Would you do Triple H and Styles?
I don't know if I would do Triple H and Styles just because I don't know. Triple H just really doesn't seem like somebody who can wrestle at that same level. I think Shawn Michaels and Styles is a dream match, but once again,
Well, yeah, that would have been the first thing I said, but he said that could still go, so I didn't say
yeah,
that.
that's why I gave the but.
With Triple
It's
H and
really
Styles, I need to see the build first. Some dream matches you could give me without a build, but with that one, I need to see like what's the angle.
Yeah, because I mean, I think you could have an incredible build with it, but you're right. It would depend on the angle. Maybe
Because
we get some type of finish to Seth, or not Seth, but AJ being baby by Vince. Remember that angle that they had a few, maybe like a year ago?
where he slapped AJ and nothing happened.
Right. maybe that still is the plan to build up. I don't know. AJ and Vince's stable. I mean, hey, I'm just reaching, grasping at straws, but that would be kind of sweet.
And you were just speaking about as far as guys who haven't wrestled, right?
Right.
Okay. So I do want to mention, and I'm sure we're going to get to it later, but this is probably the most comical thing WWE has ever done. And they are lucky to be pulling this off with no fans. But we are going to get a dream match at Backlash because they say it's going to be one. I'll just leave it at that.
Listen, whenever you're ready to open that puppy up, you have it right at
it. Oh, you must not know.
I don't know.
Oh man. Oh.
Moving on, Bayley defeated Charlotte Flair via pinfall. It was a rope-assisted pin in a non-title match. I thought Charlotte was exclusively NXT. Having a BS finish means nothing against two champions. I don't know why that even happened.
Charlotte is exclusively wherever we need you to be.
Yeah, that's true. But this is where, like what Drew was saying, where it's like quarantine, F it. Do we really care?
That's the thing. It's just like, let's just put this together to try and generate some ratings.
That's what I think is happening. Because why are they even in the ring together? Unless it's to build Sasha Banks and Bayley's relationship, which should have been torn apart years ago. Moving on, Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler took on Mandy Rose and Otis. That's right, the intergender match we all waited to see. Sonya Deville and Dolph, a.k.a. Nick, got the victory. Any thoughts? Any comments? Concerns for your Mr. Money in the Bank?
Here's the thing. It seems like when you look at the ratings for SmackDown, this feud, oddly enough, is generating ratings. It's like the feud nobody wanted, but people are actually tuning in for.
I wonder why that is.
Maybe they're just into Otis. I mean, they must see He's an entertaining guy. I mean, the little bit of him that my girlfriend saw of him at Money in the Bank, she was like, I want that guy to win. Like, he's the funniest guy in that ring. He's the most entertaining guy. So he knows how to get over with casual fans, which is their big thing. Maybe that's doing it.
I was gonna say the Mandy factor.
I don't know. Mandy's been in a lot of spots where it's just like fell short.
She's the hottest in-ring competitor that I've seen in a while.
Since Sonny?
I'll let you say that one. I didn't say that. This is Total Mac talking. I never say anything about Sonny. That was Swerve.
Well, don't worry. For Dirt, we got some Sunny.
Oh my God, some Sunny D.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Well, it's nasty as fuck. I remember I used to drink Sunny D as a kid and thought it was orange juice. Boy, was I wrong.
There's no oranges in it.
None whatsoever. I thought there was, though. Intercontinental Championship tournament match. Jeff Hardy took on Sheamus. Swervy, can you hit the music for me?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Jeff Hardy took on Sheamus.
It's a shame, it's a shame.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, that's all I got.
All right. This was the main event on. Oh no, it wasn't. It was. No, yes, it was. This was the. No, I'm lying. This was not the main event. Jeff Hardy beat Sheamus. It feels like Jeff Hardy's getting another chance, another shot at gold. I wish I could fuck up in life this many times and still get the opportunity to get championships in life. Because Jeff Hardy, you are in the Hall of Fame when it comes to that, bro.
Hey man, like I said before, the two most forgiving industries in this world is the music industry and the wrestling industry.
I was gonna say porn because I think they let some of those people who are infected still have sex.
I mean, that's not really forgiveness. That's just, you just not giving a shit.
Yeah, well, I guess. Moving on, the Forgotten Sons will be no more. I don't know if that was any dirt, Drew.
No.
So apparently there was something said. I don't know if this is a work, but they're like the comments that were expressed aren't representing of this company. They're done. It seems like they work because they put this on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Why would you put this on TV?
They wouldn't put that on TV. They would just like have a press release.
Right. And they tagged them in the tweet, and it was a WWE tweet. So
Yeah,
this is
that
some
won't be
type of
happening.
work.
That's a work.
Let's see. Backlash, we're getting a handicap match between Strowman and Miz and Morrison.
Oh my god, that's what they're doing?
Yep,
That's terrible.
it's official.
Oh my god. I guess
And
they really only won one match to stand out, huh? Or maybe
pretty
two.
much. But that's how. And apparently, AJ Styles was traded to SmackDown for future considerations.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by.
I mean, I didn't know people were getting traded, but whatever. And that was SmackDown.
Did the trade happen after WrestleMania? No, right?
As of May 22nd, AJ Styles is traded.
No, I'm saying, but did a trade happen like immediately after WrestleMania? That didn't happen, right?
No,
Okay.
this is brand new. So that was that. Um, I mean, whatever with AJ Styles. Like I said, they're giving him the IC championship. I mean, I grew up loving the Intercontinental Championship. Now I just despise it because they really don't give two shits about it. Why should I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of them stripping Sami Zayn of the championship?
Uh, here's my biggest problem with it. The rules don't apply to certain people. They stripped him of the championship because he could not defend it within 30 days because he's refusing to work during COVID. But those same rules don't apply to Roman Reigns or to Brock Lesnar
Brock. Yeah.
or Goldberg or any other part-time guys. Take as
Or
much time as you
Andrade.
need. You
Don't
know,
forget Andrade.
yeah, Andrade, you're suspended. It's fine.
You got that
But
Charlotte swag.
for Sammy, it's like Sam is like, I'm not going to work for the foreseeable future. Who knows how long that's going to be? You're stripped.
Well, Drew, I know you've never seen the movie ATL, but the classic line in that movie was, "Son, it's not what you know, it's who you know." And you got to look at who's rubbing shoulders with who. Andrade with Charlotte, Brock with Vince, Goldberg with Vince. Guys could put asses in seats. Never heard anybody say, "Man, I'm standing in line waiting to see Sami Zayn wrestle." Defending a championship that no one gives two shits about. And that sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's it's just really fucking. It burns my ass that happens because it's so blatant. You know, if you're not gonna do that to Brock, if you're gonna let Brock come back, you know, within like 3 months to defend the belt, it should be the same for everyone. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, crazy. Let's. You want to go to Dirt or you want to go to Raw?
We can go to Dirt if you want.
All right. No, let's go to Raw. Let's go to Raw.
Okay.
Let's get Raw off the way because there's a new champion that I want to talk about. So, the KO show, Natty versus Shayna Baszler. That was a sight for sore eyes. My eyes are good because I didn't see it. Apparently, Kevin Owens has his own talk show now, and he had his first guest, which was Asuka, who then started chanting Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch. KO then played a clip of Nia Jax destroying the Kabuki Warriors last week. And then Charlotte, who Swervy rightfully so says Charlotte is wherever she needs to be, whenever she's asked to be there. She came down and said she should have been handed the Raw Championship because she's beaten Asuka every single time they have ever fought. This is when Natalya joined, and she apologized, I guess, last week for wrecking his set. It was a brawl for the women. Asuka ended up walking out, standing up, the only one. It sounds like we're getting a multi-person match at Backlash for the Women's Championship, where I guarantee Asuka will retain.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll guarantee that because, yeah, I just hate these overbooked matches.
Yeah, they're awful. They're not going to
They're
call her
very
Charlotte two belts.
they're very unnecessary.
All right, let's get to it. Apollo one-legged cruise defeated Andrade for the U.S. Championship.
I guess all that happiness paid off.
My man got a crest and Colgate smile, and now he's got a championship on his waist. Salute, King. We see you. What does this do for Andrade now?
The mid-card belts are cursed.
This was your man's.
It relieves them because the mid-card belts are cursed.
It's not that they're curses; they just don't do anything with them.
Right, they're cursed.
So is this it for the Apollo Crews train?
Is this it?
Yeah.
Well, think about how I'm gonna take you back. I forget what year this was, but it was in the old somethings. Think about when Wade Barrett was popping, right? And then he got the Intercontinental Championship. And then he was just taking L's, defending it in the pre-show. Just look how long that belt's been cursed. Like, John Cena gave that mid-card belt a little bit of life for like 1 year, and then it went back to being what it was.
I remember.
So if you're asking me if I think anything's going to happen, first of all, I think he only got it because there's no fans. And secondly, he's just going to hold it for a few months until they can give it to someone else to disappear. Just like they do the women's tag belts.
So this is a holdover champion?
I mean, until they prove me wrong.
See, I think Apollo could have a good run. He's a good in-ring competitor. He just has to work on his character.
All the guys who get the mid-card belts are good ring competitors, pretty much.
So then this isn't a knock towards Apollo Crews then?
It's not a knock. It's just, it's here. It's thank you for sticking with us through this tough time. You know how you get that that free day off that's not really recorded from your boss every now and then? They say, hey, just go ahead and leave early. It's one of those.
Yeah, those days are all right. I will give you that. But, I mean, I hope this turns into something for Apollo because I remember when he got called up. He got called up a while ago.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Hey, man, stay down till you come up. Ain't that what it's supposed to be like?
Yeah, I suppose.
All right, so moving on to Iconics. They want their championships back. Should have lost them. Let's move on. The VIP lounge with MVP. Drew McIntyre was there. He was a guest. He came out and tore apart the set before he actually fought with, I believe it was MVP. Hit him with a Claymore. Then he said he did that because Bobby Lashley made him do it. He wants to beat Lashley so bad that he's Claymore kicking and destroying TV sets for other wrestlers. So Bobby Lashley is going to get a championship match against Drew McIntyre. We've seen one too many Backlash pay-per-views. We know how this goes, folks. Swervy, I mean, no disrespect when I say this, but you know and I know.
Oh, I know.
Everybody in the back knows. He ain't coming up that ring with the championship.
I'll tell you what, I have a better chance of winning that belt than Bobby Lashley does this at the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that's how Backlash goes.
Everybody knows what this is. Just feed me some opponents for a little while to build up my run. So when I lose it to Lesnar in 5 seconds, it'll be that much more impactful.
I was about to say, who is he like doing this for?
Lesnar.
You think so?
Yes.
Honestly, I think McIntyre can take Lesnar.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
Well, I'm just saying. There has to be somebody that stops this comeback that he has every year. Why not Drew?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying he is built. He's not being built up to put nobody else who's younger and current over. I'll just say that. History has showed us anything. He's going to lose that title in a disappointing way.
Yo, you know what I'm missing wrestling? The Earl Hebner long count. Like, you knew like a new champion was getting crowned. The announcer sold it. The ref sold it. The fans in the front row sold it. We don't get that anymore. Everything's a slide and a freaking mat pound when you do the 1, 2, 3. I just like how Earl Hebner was. Earl Hebner counted 3 like he was trying to turn off his alarm clock.
Yeah, his hand was all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm up. I missed that.
Him and Nick Patrick are the two top ranking
Oh
arm
man.
floppers there is.
Nick Patrick with the Hulk Hogan count with the hand flip. Yeah,
His
I love
hand his hand was like a wet salmon out of water.
it. Seriously. Oh man, the good old times. Moving on. It is Angel Garza taking on Kevin Owens. Garza beat Kevin Owens.
Now this I was really surprised at.
Um, yeah, me too.
I said, "What the hell are you guys doing?"
Are they trying to build up other people?
This is the wrong guy to do it with. He came off a victory over Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was more, or it was going to be more in store for Kevin Owens after he beat Seth.
Yeah, they seem to have forgotten about it. I mean, I know he had an injury and all, but damn.
I think
What if
that after his last injury, he became like damaged goods to Vince, and that's why he's like kind of on the back burner.
Well, they gave him a TV show, if that means anything.
I mean, they make TV shows out of a lot of things. Doesn't mean really much.
Well, you know what though? That's kind of why you have to be a good talker, because if you aren't, he wouldn't have that. He'd just be in the back doing
Yeah,
nothing.
true.
Like
He's a good talker, but I don't think that they're going to do anything where he's like an actual star.
like
Because, I
Elias.
mean, Alexa Bliss is a good talker, too. And she was a host forever when she was hurt, and then she wrestled, and then was hurt again, and then got her own talk show again.
But she's not at the top of, the women's division like she once was. Now it's like she's a tag team champion. That's where she's at.
Yeah, I mean, she could have been so much more. She still could be. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that ship has sailed. But I don't know. I was an Alexa Bliss guy because she was everything. I was a Kevin Owens guy because he was everything. He could be a heel. He could be a face. He came out when they had that Raw in Quebec, started speaking French. Fans fucking loved it.
To this day, Kevin Owens probably had one of the best not NXT debuts, sorry, NXT call ups that they ever had from that division because the way he came out, you thought like, wow, this guy's gonna be a big deal. And then they just let it all go to waste.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was about.
They didn't give that to nobody else.
You hate to see it. You really do. But Drew, you say this every episode, and I didn't want to believe it, but I'm gonna have to. They don't build their own stars, and when they stop midway, it's like, yo, you leave the fans want more, and you never give them more. I don't understand it.
Because it seems like the writers don't know how to take that next step. The writers at this point really just write to pop Vince. They don't write to make convincing long storylines. So it's like, oh, we got this far, but we don't really know what to do with them, so we're just going to drop it.
It's the dumbest thing ever, though.
I was listening to a podcast right before this show, and it was an interview with Jim Ross, and he said that Tony Khan was in his ear probably 3 times throughout the year, versus however many times Vince McMahon was in his ear during his WWE
Constantly.
and there's your difference.
And he says that he gives them creative, let them be what they want to be.
There's a difference.
The biggest difference is he's half his age. It's a generation. The generation gap is the biggest difference.
And the fact that I think Vince needs to control literally everything in the company. It's his sandbox, which means he wants everything to go his way. So when something doesn't go that way, it's like, no, you have to do it this way. That hurts the product.
I mean, he has to know that, right? Or is it just he doesn't just give a shit?
I just don't think he gives a shit. I think that it's become so successful, and to him, nobody's competing with it to the point where, who gives a shit? This is my company. I'm going to do what I want.
It's almost like you wish that Kevin Owens would just jump ship and go to AEW. Because if he did, oh my God. You want to talk about star power. You want to talk about somebody you could put a belt on for 6 months out the year and not be mad at it.
The problem is Kevin Owens seems like the type of guy who his dream was to wrestle in WWE. It wasn't necessarily to be a pro wrestler, it was to be a wrestler in WWE. So now that he's there, he's there. It doesn't matter that he's not getting pushed. It doesn't matter he's not in the main event. He's happy to be there. It truly seems like that to me. And that's why you'll never see him in AEW unless they remove him from WWE.
Yeah. All right, I got pause for a second. This is the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life. We didn't cover Raw last week. We have a show. Headline is golfing with the Street Profits and Viking Raiders.
Yeah, they've been killing the Viking Raiders with this shit.
This isn't the dumbest thing that I just read. The dumbest thing I just read was after facing each other in basketball and axe throwing, the Viking Raiders and Street Profits continued their series of challenges with a round of golf. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep, they're gonna do it something else next week because it's anything you can do, I can do better challenge. That's what it is. But there's always some shenanigan toward the end.
And these are the tag team champions, right?
I believe they still are.
No one gives a shit, bro. Oh my God.
Because they don't have Bianca Belair.
You said what?
I said it's because they no longer have Bianca Belair. I don't know where she went, but she wasn't with them anymore.
Yeah. All right, so Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory took on Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black. Uh, I mean, Theory and Murphy got the victory. Then Seth came out and called Rey Mysterio a sacrificial lamb, if you can say. And he's going to do the same thing to Black or Carrillo if they intervene next week. I know Rey Mysterio is supposed to be having a retirement ceremony next week. That's what this is going to be. I mean, if anybody's not coming back, do I give a shit? No. Secret lover of No Chill Drew, Natty, took on Charlotte and Nia Jax.
Hey, Natty recently is looking good. She can get it.
Nia Jax also hit Natty with the Samoan drop, and she got the victory. So technically, she beat Charlotte. Thank you. Then it was a tag team match that main evented Raw. The Street Profits, who were on TV earlier, golfing, took on MVP and Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley and MVP, or not MVP, McIntyre got into it. Several wrestlers tried to separate them two. Is this the go home show for Backlash?
No, I think they got like one more week or so.
Okay. This is go home shit. They put them separated each other. So when they fight at the pay per view, it could be monster against monsters. Vince, you hear how I'm explaining your show? I know you listen. It's awful, bro. You got to keep me invested.
I just can't get invested. Unfortunately, I can't get invested. It's just all over the place. It's all over the place, but at the same time, it's nothing that I could really care about. Like Rey Mysterio's retirement, we know that it's going to be schmozzed. We know it's going to be an angle nobody gives a shit about. It's probably going to be fucking Brock Lesnar coming out to rekindle that feud that nobody cared about.
You think you're gonna Mark Henry him?
If he comes out with a salmon suit, I'll be impressed.
An oversized salmon suit?
Yeah.
Yo, Brock can pull off a salmon suit, though, dog. Salmon suit and beatbox Brock. He got to come out like that.
I wanted to see Ray in the salmon suit. He's the one retiring.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, he can't body slam anybody, so
he comes out. I just want to call out my main man, Drew McIntyre. If he could just come out here for a second. Drew McIntyre comes out there and he like turns on him.
He gives him a devastating Hurricane Rana.
And a salmon. He's wearing a salmon suit with matching salmon mask.
A salmon Kinrana?
Yeah.
So that's it for Raw. I mean, I guess I want my cake and eat it too.
You went over Raw already? There's one thing you forgot.
What?
So they were hyping this Randy Orton and Edge match, and they're calling it the greatest wrestling match ever.
Jesus Christ.
In whose eyes?
No company has ever done that. You never name something ahead of time. They're saying it's going to be, not could be, not arguably, not possibly. It's going to be.
The WWE, man. The gift that you want to return.
I just say, like, only they can do this when there are no fans for nobody to prove them wrong.
I mean, are we gonna get 18 minutes of them backstage at the shit in Orlando? Like, please.
I mean, it's gonna be in the ring, but I just like why in the hell would you say that about like these two? Out of all the times you had a chance to say that, you're saying it now, and you're saying it for backlash. Like it doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand why they're using that build, and I wanted somebody to explain it to me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Like, look at the graphic next time you get a chance. It literally says that.
I guess they gotta sell people on watching it. Are you gonna watch based on that headline alone?
I was gonna watch anyway.
So who are they trying to gain with that headline?
Yeah, sure. You walked by in a salmon shirt just now. I have no idea what new fans they're gonna pull in with that one.
Because it ain't us. Oh man, I don't know.
But yeah, you can move on. I just didn't want that to be overlooked. I thought that was very ballsy.
Yeah, very. WWE, man. I don't know. Good luck. Uh, we normally do a middle portion of the show with dirt, but I think we can end the show on dirt today.
Abby did send an email, just so you know.
All right, we got a couple of things to cover there. We got dirt. We got Abby's email. I also want to talk Dark Side of the Ring. Drew, I know you're interested in that as well.
Okay. So first we'll get to dirt, okay?
All right, it is
Jeez.
hot. Balls
Start that
sticky.
note and end on one too, huh?
Balls are sticky, sweaty. I need to take a shower because your boy is dirty.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm about to say, man, I was trying to give you a little bit more time to get yourself together.
Listen, man, I'm sweaty too. I'm trying to get a shower my damn self. So let's hurry this up.
Okay, do you want me to start?
Have at it, bro.
Okay, so WWE announced today that Matt Riddle is moving from NXT to SmackDown. So Matt Riddle can be properly buried as a former NXT wrestler on the main roster. They're not calling it move up because that would mean that NXT is inferior, but they are calling it moving to SmackDown.
Do you
I'm a
think
little
this
bit.
spot was for alleged pedophile? What's his face? Velveteen.
I don't know. I would have rather preferred Keith Lee over anyone, but it might have been for Velveteen.
Keith Lee is doing this thing right now in NXT.
Yeah. Speaking of people who are not going to be on WWE programming, Sarah Logan is currently training for MMA after being one of the many people released by WWE a few weeks ago.
Does she have like a background in that at all or no?
And I don't think so. So that'll be interesting to see her, get killed. But Tammy Sitch, let's talk about her.
Hey,
So a couple weeks ago, we mentioned that Sunny is doing OnlyFans. Did you happen to see what she's projected to rake in from her OnlyFans account?
1,500.
No. Swerve, you got a guess?
no, I don't have a guess.
$250,000
What?
for the dustiest vagina you can find.
So I'm gonna ask the Swervy Lee question, where he goes, "How do you know that about Vince? Well, how do you know that about Sonny?"
She had a porno.
Oh, that is very true.
I still haven't
And
looked
also
at it.
she's on OnlyFans. I mean, she queefed in her fucking porno, so that tells you all you need to know.
AKA
She,
dry heave.
no, she farted.
I know what that word means. I'm just saying it was so dusty nothing came out. A
Oh,
dry heave.
oh Jesus Christ. Uh, she also was one of the very few people to decide to shit on Hannah Camara after she committed suicide, saying that she was a weak-willed person to kill herself. Um, Probably not the best thing to say less than a week after somebody dies, but that's Sunny getting attention for herself. Um, I'm not
Hey,
even
why
going to
not
touch on
turn
that.
that 250 to 275? That's what that was.
I'm sorry, but people who are paying for Sunny's OnlyFans, y'all nasty. You know who you are. You're the people eating at Denny's at 2 a.m.
Hey man,
Get out.
don't sleep on the 40-year-old, 50-year-old truck drivers out there. They ain't
Don't
got
sleep
No,
nothing
on a
else to do with that
499
bread.
Grand Slam either. At 2 in the morning when you fresh out the club.
I'd rather go hungry.
Drew, the hoes be at Denny's, bro, at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. People like Sunny. You're not getting quality.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Um, the upcoming AEW pay-per-view Fighter Fest was announced. This was supposed to be their first ever UK pay-per-view. However, because of everything going on, they're unable to travel to England for this pay-per-view. They're not sure when the next UK pay-per-view will be taking place, but this was supposed to be their first trip to the UK.
See, now, I have a problem.
Yeah.
Don't you think they're getting a little bit too big for their britches?
I don't think so.
You
There's a
haven't
lot of
mastered one territory, but now you're worried about somewhere else.
there's a
A
lot of
whole other
fans in the
continent.
there's a lot of fans in the UK, a lot of wrestling fans, a lot of independent wrestling fans, and a lot of fans of AEW who have been clamoring for them to come over there.
Wait, time
Plus,
out, time out, time out.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to take my statement back. Is this them doing a show in the UK, or is this them doing like a second branding of AEW, like
no,
AEW
no, 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 no,
UK?
no. This is not a second branding. This is like one of
Okay,
their pay per
okay,
views.
okay. I got kind of confused for a second. I
No,
thought that's
it's not
what
like they're
this.
doing like AEW British. They're doing like a pay per view.
Okay, gotcha. My bad. Sorry, AEW.
Mark Henry in the news, threatening a lawsuit against Leo Rush. Did you happen to hear about this?
No.
So Leo Rush, when he got released, made a few statements. One of those statements being, Mark Henry does whatever it takes to keep black wrestlers down.
Oh shit.
Mark Henry took serious offense to this, saying that he's been nothing but supportive to every young black wrestler who's come in, and for somebody to say that is not only hurtful, but it's also damaging because of the fact that he has a radio show right now on Sirius XM that may pull the plug on him if he's deemed somebody who's a racist. So he's suing him for slander, stating, "Listen, unless you make a public apology, I'm gonna take you to court for this." As of yet, Leo Rush has not made any statements or any apologies.
Did you see the video that was floating around where it was Booker T, Mark Henry, and Ember Moon?
No.
So the video was Ember Moon crying about her being injured and it possibly being career threatening, to say the least. And Mark Henry is kind of in this video proving Leo Rush's point because he was saying to Ember, hey, no matter what happens, you get out there and you shake it off. So this is a video on Twitter. Some guy's like, yeah, you're right, Mark. Somebody can just go ahead and shake off a torn ACL. You're right. So I mean, I hear what
maybe
Mark is saying, but at the same time, like, bro, it's not like a shoulder sprain.
maybe
10 to
there is
14
something.
month injury is not nothing light.
Maybe there is something to what Leo Rush is saying. Then
Possibly, I don't. I mean, I don't know. That was just that one time. I haven't seen there's any other instances of Leo Rush's claim coming to fruition. But that one kind of made me go, why would you say that, Mark? Be better than that.
yeah, especially nowadays, like you can't just shake off an injury or take a Z-Pack or something. Like you have to, go through their medical protocol. And if WWE deems you not medically fit, you can't just wrestle.
Right. Any more dirt?
Yeah. Couple more. AEW is releasing their own shoe line.
Huh.
Oh, the AEW ones?
Something like that. They're teaming with, let me pull up the actual company they're teaming with. It's not anyone that's like a big name. They're not teaming with like Nike or anything.
Oh, my bad. It's going to be the Steph Marbury joints then.
The Stephen Berries?
These are teamed with, let's see.
Saucony?
Shut up, dude.
So, okay, Super Kicks high tops. They're designed like Chuck Taylor's, but have different like wrestling themes on them. Chris Jericho, John Moxley, Inner Circle, Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, Jurassic Express, and Orange Cassidy are currently the wrestlers on these shoes. Each shoe retails for $99.
So they're like an XJ900.
Come on, dude.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but sure.
Yeah, you need to Google that if you don't know.
Next thing that I have is Drew Gulak. Did you see what's happening with him?
No, I did not.
So Drew Gulak last week quit WWE. His contract expired, and he chose not to renew it. This week, he has just re-signed with WWE. So it looks like when they went to re-sign him, he looked at the contract, says, hey, why don't you go find those couple extra zeros that are missing? And they found them. So he has re-signed with the company.
Oh, shout out to Drew. Not stuck in the gulag anymore.
Exactly. Did you see XFL might have a new owner?
Did not.
There is a party interested in buying the XFL out of bankruptcy.
Is this party private?
It is not a private party. The party who's looking to possibly buy XFL.
Should I guess?
Sure.
Ted Turner.
No.
Yeah.
However, they are involved with wrestling.
Oh.
Vince McMahon is looking to rebuy the AEW brand out of bankruptcy.
Wait. Drew. You said Vince McMahon is looking to buy the AEW brand out of bankruptcy.
I'm sorry. XFL. I was looking at article for AEW when I said that. I apologize. XFL. He's looking to buy XFL out of bankruptcy. So it looks like he's trying to use legal loopholes to basically. Okay, bro, you gotta mute your fucking mic or something, or turn down the speakers.
My bad.
You're killing me.
I'm on mute.
So what he's trying to do is use a legal loophole to get out of actually paying the bankruptcy fees. So files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, lets it go to bankruptcy auction, and buys it, and just pays some of the remaining debt without paying any of the creditors. Now he's turned around and said this is untrue, that there are people interested. He's not among them, but Vince has said other things in the past and has had shady ways of doing things around. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he plans on rebuying them and bringing him back for 2021. However, he did state the reason why he fired Oliver Luck. He stated that the reason he fired Oliver Luck was because Oliver Luck was not doing his job in trying to secure new cities for expansion in XFL, as well as his signing of Antonio Callaway, former wide receiver of the Browns. When Vince McMahon first founded the league, he stated specifically he did not want any players who had previous troubles with the law. He recently found out that Antonio Callaway was arrested for intoxicated driving. This he saw was Oliver Luck violating his terms of his agreement. That's why he had fired him. Oliver Luck, of course, is countersuing that statement, stating that, these are just bullshit reasons to fire somebody.
Oliver, I'll be your attorney, and I will just say 2 words. Jeff Hardy. Haven't fired that motherfucker.
That is true.
All right, then. Case closed.
Last bit of dirt. WWE recently let a trademark expire. Which trademark do you think it is?
The granddaddy of them all.
No.
It's a match type, if I had to guess.
No. It's a wrestler nickname.
I don't know.
The Rated R Superstar is now a trademark that can be purchased, as WWE allowed it to lapse.
I'm about to buy it.
So,
what the fuck we waiting on?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Edge bought it, but
Let's end this show.
Yeah.
So I'm fine.
Yeah, let's end the show. What else is next? You said that Swervey had something, and then you want to do Dark Side of the Ring, right?
I said Abby had something.
Who did I say?
Yeah, right, bro.
Okay. So did you want to go Dark Side of the Ring first?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So this past week was the season finale of Dark Side of the Ring. It was on Owen Hart. They got Owen Hart's widow, Owen Hart's son, and Owen Hart's daughter.
Which, by the way, this season flew the fuck by.
Yeah. I love this season. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was fantastic. Even the ones about guys I didn't really know about, I thought were fantastic.
I only watched the Guerrero and the Owen Hart one. Those are the only ones I cared about.
I would suggest you going back and watching, the Road Warriors were right before Owen Hart. They had other ones based on people that were in WWE, ones that maybe you don't know who they are, but their story were just fucking crazy. I
know it's the New Jack one too, but those were the ones I cared about. I don't care about the others.
Telling you, they're good episodes. But Owen Hart,
Yeah, they are good.
Man, it bugs me to this day that they continued with the fucking pay-per-view after he died. That's something that you should fucking stop the show for. Especially when you... What's that?
Go ahead.
Especially when you have wrestlers on that show who found out he died, were visibly shaken, and can't function.
Yeah, so you had to finish commentating, and like right after that, not knowing what happened, that was a tough spot for like JR and everybody who had to wrestle, seeing the blood that was on the ring and stuff like that. That just happened seconds before they had to go out there and finish working.
And then not only that, but you also tell Jim Ross, hey, Owen's dead. You're back in 10.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The messed up way they...
Yeah, Kevin Dunn was a piece of shit for that.
After watching that, I was completely on the family side about not wanting him in the Hall of Fame, and I understand it now. And I've given up my hope for wanting him in there. I feel like the way they remember him is the way they remember him, and that's good enough. And
One
I
good bit of news, though, as far as remembering him, when the Widow was on Chris Jericho's podcast, he basically brought up Pro Wrestling Tees, a good way for Owens merchandise to get out there and not have WWE's hands on it. Well, they did that where the proceeds would be donated to Owen Hart's charity,
yeah,
and it was the second highest selling T-shirt of the year in just a week. So, props on that. But yeah, fuck WWE for that. Fuck Kevin Dunn, especially when you look back at like the Bad Blood pay-per-view when Vince McMahon had to announce Brian Pillman died, and he's like, "Oh, well, folks, I have to inform you that Brian Pillman passed away," and he's not looking at the camera. But then when JR has to do it for Owen Hart, it's like, bro, look in that camera. You got to say it.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit. I mean, you use people who weren't trained to do the spot. Number one. Number two, you go on with the show, which is stupid in itself. Number three, Jerry Lawler is asked to come back to his post after attending to a dead man. He is audibly, visually shaken. And then Jim Ross is just taken aback by the ordering of him saying, "You're back in 10, you got to announce it, do it, do it." And I guarantee you that Vince is in the back, red as fuck, probably not caring about Owen's state. He's probably just worried about the whole product and nothing else. I mean, we give Vince his flowers all the time, but bro, this is now one of those times.
I just, you know, they also used equipment that was for a sailboat. Oh, put 6 pounds of pressure on it and it'll release. Bro, what? Like, how is that supposed to help with anything? Like, they basically went.
yeah, that was the part one of the parts that bugged me the most is you have all this money, and you are cutting costs by using something cheap.
They had record fucking profit that year. Record profit. And they dumbed down the fucking safety equipment for a stunt that they weren't even showing on the pay-per-view, remember? Because they were doing the package with the Godfather and the package for the actual match itself during his entrance. So they didn't even show him coming down from the rafters. Why was it necessary? Why? So that the crowd in the arena can see him coming down? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? It boggles me to this day. And then to see that the Hart family basically turned on her because they were so worried about, well, what if we can get a paycheck from Vince? Like, what if he needs something from us and we can get a payday? We can't upset Vince. So even though our brother died, we got to make sure that our payday is still open.
Yeah,
That's a tough spot to be in.
It's really not. It's, wow, our brother died. Fuck you, Vince.
No, I'm saying that's just a tough spot to be in general for that family, that side of the family. Like they're all in that business, and then you have that thing happen, and it's going to cause a rift no matter how you cut it. Um, you I guess you wouldn't think that. I guess you would think just by being his brother, yes, he would be the one fighting the hardest for this particular thing, based on how he knew Vince was and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. That's a tough spot to be in. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Vince. I don't know, man. It almost makes you think pieces like that make you want to say, I can't support this fucking guy. But I don't know why I just can't give it up, knowing all the facts. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know all the facts, but at the same time, it's just like, you
Well,
look at
yeah, true,
was
true.
presented, and it's just like I don't. I just feel like, and here's the thing, the Hall of Fame itself, like, there's so many wrestlers who are like, oh, you got to let him be inducted. You got to let him be inducted. Yeah, fuck you guys. First and foremost, every single wrestler who agreed to continue wrestling that night can go fuck themselves. Because they are also just as guilty as Vince is for going, well, the show's going on, so I got to get out there. And now you're going to turn around and be like, hey, let him be in the Hall of Fame so that they can make money off his merch. Please, because there's no actual Hall of Fame. That's really all that the purpose is. It's like, dude, get a fucking life. Like, get the fuck out of here. Especially when you see, like, the daughter sit there and be like, listen, I fucking hate pro wrestling. I didn't know my father. I didn't know him at all. All I know is that pro wrestling took him. So why would I watch any of his matches or want him to be in that Hall of Fame?
Right. I'm also glad that his son is not wanting to follow his steps like Benoit.
Yeah, he's, I guess, trying to be an attorney.
Smart kids.
Yeah.
Also wonder why Brett wasn't available for commentary.
Probably because it shines him in a negative light. I guess one of the big things during the Jericho podcast was Brett was on her side during the lawsuit, but he was interested in including in the lawsuit that he got all the rights to all of his video recordings that WWE had of him. So basically, his film library, when she didn't get that back, he basically cut her off. So it paints him in a negative light too, because it's like, Vince, your brother died, or Brett, your brother died there, and you just crawl right back to get your name in the Hall of Fame and get a paycheck.
Well, the whole Hart family, according to her story, was against her. Well, not the whole, but there were a lot of members of the family who were saying Vince has done a lot for us. How could you betray him? Stuff like that.
Well, a silver lining that I did see was it looks like the son Oj and Natalia are friendly, at least like on social media and stuff. So at least like the grandchildren have like gone along.
Yeah. Do you think the Hart family will ever make a return as far as the mystique that they were back in the day?
No, because I feel like the majority of the children, I'm talking about like guys like Harry Smith and Teddy Hart and stuff. A lot of them grew up in like a spoiled atmosphere where they thought they were the greatest thing in wrestling, and they're not. And the kids that are after them, I don't think that they're going to be prone to get into wrestling just because of the fact that they didn't see their parents in that high spot, high life that the generation before them saw, like with Brett and Owen. And it's like, oh, I want to do that. The kids coming up now probably see it as Teddy Hart disgracing himself. Uh, you know, British Bulldog Jr. not really doing much. Natalia just being there. It's like, I'll find a different job.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was After Dark Side of the Ring. Next, Abby's email.
Let me pull up his email right now.
Nobody was keeping up with the Undertaker series.
I watched it,
man.
but it's a lot of stuff that I already knew.
All Lives Taker?
Huh?
Blue Streak Taker?
I thought you said All Eyes on Taker.
Yeah, All Lives on Taker. Yeah, that's him.
Okay, so Abby doesn't really have a question. He just has a comment. He says, boys, there was a lot of cock at Double or Nothing. The ladder match revealed AEW's newest beefcake, Brian Cage, and his tight, inviting trunks. My favorite match of the night, MJF versus Jungle Boy, has a spot where they were both gesticulating with their eggplants at each other. Later, we had Sean Spears lose his pants and was wearing a picture of Tully Blanchard over his man meat. And to wrap things up, there was a close-up of Nyla Rose's camel, bulge. You know what? That was the most erotic pay-per-view in ages, and it was fantastic. I give it 4 out of 5 cocks. And that is Abby's take.
That was funny, Abby. 4 out of 5. Sick freak. Abby over there getting his quarantine shit off. See you here, bro. Next episode is episode number 99. I wish we could meet up to be for episode 100. But
we could.
I don't know if I want to, man. It's too hot.
Yeah, quarantine got boys tripping.
And if we meet up, that may disable me from doing some things, technically.
One hand on the stick, the other hand on the mic?
No, I'm talking about the podcast.
Okay, my bad.
I'm not sitting in the cockpit with my hand on my joystick.
All right. I know you was cruising, I mean. Stick shifting.
Shout out to Triple H.
Drew's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
All right. Was that all that we got then?
Good 3 hours.
This is a long. It's a pay-per-view podcast. Yeah,
all right.
definitely.
Well, lead us out, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Drew, you have earned a new hashtag on the show.
Yeah.
You'll hear it in a minute. For Swervy Lee, a.k.a. Two Sub Swerve, a.k.a. Swervy Atmos, a.k.a. Swollen Pal, f.k.a. Yoka Tuna. He is out. Next is No Chill Drew, a.k.a. EGB, a.k.a. the OG's OG, a.k.a. the Applebee's Don. Oh, okay.
I went off beat. I'm sorry.
You're good. I added a new thing for you. You're the OG's OG. You know what that means?
Olive Garden's OG.
That's a fact. Every time I see you, you OG'd up.
Damn right.
Are you getting the extra breadsticks or what? Or are they just giving them to you at this point?
They just give me 2.
Oh shit! You gotta pull up.
I do.
All right. My name is Total Mac, a.k.a. TVD Mac, a.k.a. Sick Flair. This has been the 98th installment of the No Pyro Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see y'all next week. Don't catch a heat stroke. Stay calm, cool, collected. Put your AC on, put your fan on. No sex, because it's going to be too hot for that. And stay COVID-19 free, y'all. See you next week. Doses.